I went out of my way to get totally jacked, thinking people would finally just leave me alone. But who would have thought? The main heroines from the original manga would start falling for me, one right after the other? The original romance plotline is completely ruined just because I am here. I groggily opened my eyes, only to see a bunch of blurry faces hovering over me. The last thing I remember was passing out in the middle of a massive fire, and when I woke up, I was here, in this hospital. Wait, my eyes shot wide open. The reflection in the vase, that wasn't my face. After freaking out a bit, it hit me. I must have possessed someone else's body. The original owner of this body was named Kim Yoo-sung. Just a totally average guy from a normal family. But, it looks like he got into a car crash last weekend. He is probably already gone. And then, my soul just took over his body. Honestly, though, it is kind of a blessing in disguise for me, because I can finally escape from that hellish lab. Now, all I need to figure out is how to survive in this new life. Soon after being discharged, I stepped into Kim Yoo-sung's room. The second I opened the door, I froze. The bookshelf was absolutely packed with manga. And don't even get me started on the action figures. Man, this guy was a massive otaku. Oh boy, can I really pull this off and live a normal life as this guy? If I suddenly start acting like a totally different person, his parents are definitely going to notice something is off. Then I spotted his custom-made, over-the-top character posters. Yeah, this dude was completely unhinged. He was a total edgelord. And looking closely, every single manga on his shelf was either a battle shonen or a rom-com. Okay, if I just think about it from that angle, faking his lifestyle shouldn't be too hard. Actually, right before I ended up in this world, I was following this one anime. It was a record-breaking shonen manga, selling over 10 million copies. But the ending, the childhood friends just ended up together. So many fans were absolutely furious about it. They thought the ending was straight up trash. Fast forward to the next day, I stayed up reading a bunch of the manga from his shelf. Which meant I literally didn't sleep a wink. Right then, Mom called me over to help out with some orders. Just as I threw on my uniform, a noisy group of kids walked right into our shop. Wait a second, those two right in front of me. I swear I have seen them somewhere before. Hearing his name made it click. Holy crap, that is literally the main character from the manga I was reading. I can't freaking believe it. I actually transmigrated into a damn manga. Okay, let's break down this whole transmigration situation. I died in a fire, and woke up in the body of this Kim Yoo-sung guy. And from what I can tell, Kim Yoo-sung is just a totally irrelevant background character in the manga Chaos of Love. So, long story short, I am living inside a comic book. But here's the catch. I don't even remember the entire plot. Because I totally skimmed through most of it. Damn it. But hey, if I really think about it, this place isn't all that different from the real world, is it? I mean, it's just a high school rom-com. It's not like the world is going to end or anything. All I gotta do is avoid the main characters like the plague. If I do that, I can just live a nice, peaceful life as a background mob. And so, the daily grind began. First order of business. Speed read all these manga volumes. Second, act exactly like the old Kim Yoo-sung. I went out of my way to apply to a private high school far outside his old district. I even aced the entrance exam to get first place and scored a full ride scholarship. Once I enrolled, I used puberty as my ultimate excuse to slowly rebrand my entire personality. But even with all that effort, the crazy butterfly effect of my transmigration couldn't be stopped. So, to brace myself for whatever the hell comes next, I figured I had better be ready. I grabbed a pen and started mapping out my master plan. But it just never felt right. In the end, I decided to start working out. Strength is absolutely essential in life. Endurance is strength. Even if I'm stuck in a rom-com, having muscles is way better than not having them. But after working out for a while, I realized something. Lifting weights is actually insanely fun. After that, I became completely hooked on fitness. Time just quietly slipped by. My first year of high school went by peacefully. And today marks the start of a brand new semester. Everyone was checking their class assignments. That's when a guy nearby smirked. He noticed his buddy walking over and called out, "Hey, aren't you a little late?" "Kim Yoo-sung, what class did you get?" "I don't know yet," I replied. By now, my appearance had changed drastically. I'm already a sophomore. Man, this past year really flew by in the blink of an eye. Over the last few months, I went through a crazy bulking phase. That's why I look so completely different now. And the reason for all of this? Self-defense. Because in a manga world, aliens, ghosts, or gangsters randomly popping up is just an everyday occurrence. So everything I'm doing right now is just me preparing for whatever the future throws at me. It's definitely not just because I'm obsessed with muscles. Anyway, so far, my hard work this past year has really paid off. I got assigned to Class 2B. Just then, a girl walked through the door and cheerfully greeted everyone. It was Yaguchi Mai, the main heroine of the original manga, and the guy sitting right next to me is Sakamoto Ryuji, the original male lead. For me, this is an absolute disaster waiting to happen. Out of everyone, those two just had to end up as my classmates. I mean, to avoid them, I specifically chose a high school super far away. If I get dragged into their messy drama, my peaceful school life is totally doomed. Right then, I heard Sakamoto complaining about how awful his day was. First I lost my wallet, and then I bumped into some random girl on the street. His words sent a shockwave through me. Wait, don't tell me she's here too? The moment that thought crossed my mind, the classroom door slid open. Our homeroom teacher walked in. Quiet down, everyone, get back to your seats. He announced that he had something very important to share. Sakamoto, however, clearly couldn't care less. He was still agonizing over his lost wallet. Today, the teacher said, we have a new transfer student joining our class. Blonde girl stepped into the classroom. She had this incredibly cute little snaggletooth. Hi everyone, she greeted enthusiastically. Instantly, the whole class was captivated by how pretty she was. Whoa, is she a foreigner? Whispered a student. The teacher asked her to introduce herself. I'm Kishimoto Rika, I just moved here. Honestly, I had already seen this coming. Since I ended up in the same class as the male lead, it was inevitable that the heroines would show up too. Kishimoto Rika, even though I've forgotten most of the original plot, I know she was consistently ranked number 1 in popularity. Even though she wasn't the final winner, she always dominated the fan polls. The teacher then told Rika to take the empty seat in the back row. Perfect, Sakamoto can help show you the ropes. Right then, Sakamoto suddenly realized something. Wait, wasn't this the girl he bumped into this morning? Rika immediately recognized him, too. Hey, we still haven't settled the score from this morning. She snapped. The teacher quickly told them to quiet down. Well, since you two already know each other, that makes things even easier, the teacher laughed. Rika sat down with intense reluctance. She shot him a vicious glare. Honestly, she didn't want to give him the time of day. But she had picked up his lost wallet earlier that morning. So, with an annoyed sigh, she tossed it back to him. As for me, I just sat there, completely frozen. God, I just want to escape this place right now. But I've still got 2 agonizing years of this left. In the blink of an eye, the bell finally rang for the end of class. A buddy of mine wanted to borrow a manga from me. Even though I'm in high school now, I still haven't kicked my manga habit. But honestly, it's all for the sake of my future. You see, according to the universal laws of manga, even if I don't remember the exact story, the tropes are pretty much identical. So I have to constantly read the latest magazines, and keep track of all the rom-com story arcs. Just then, Ryuji suddenly grabbed Rika Kishimoto's hand. Hey, I have something I need to tell you in private. Can you come with me for a sec? Obviously, he wanted to talk about that accident from this morning. To my surprise, Rika actually agreed. Fine, I suppose I can spare a minute to chat with you. The other students were totally confused, whispering, wait, is there something going on between those two? I quickly announced that I needed to hit the restroom. Of course, I actually just wanted to eavesdrop on them. But the second I slid the classroom door open, my massive frame and terrifying aura completely paralyzed everyone in the room. They all visibly flinched, probably thinking, is this guy seriously a high schooler? Why is he so intimidating? He straight up looks like a mob boss's heir. Great, looks like I'm about to become a total outcast. Seriously, is it just because I'm a little buff? Whatever, right now I need to hurry up and see what's going on between those two main characters. To make sure my predictions are dead on, I have to witness the event with my own eyes and gather the evidence. In this entire school, there's only one place where you can pull off a truly private conversation. I absolutely need to hear what they're saying. I can't let the plot go completely off the rails. Sure enough, they were talking in the courtyard behind the school. I quietly hid in the bushes, keeping a close eye on them. The whole reason Ryuji Sakamoto wanted to get Rika alone was to apologize to her. I couldn't believe my eyes. He actually hit her with the most awkward, dramatic pose ever. But incredibly, it actually worked. Rika completely cracked up, clutching her stomach and laughing out loud. You really are clueless, aren't you? Well, since you're going to such great lengths, I guess I'll forgive you. Besides, what happened this morning was just a complete accident anyway. With her bright, cheerful personality, Rika is easily the #1 most popular girl in school. And this right here was her very first event with the male lead. I've gotta say, it's the absolute textbook opening for a classic rom-com. But right as I was peeping, a girl suddenly caught me in the act. Kim Yoo-sung, what on earth are you doing sneaking around in those bushes? Don't tell me you're up to something completely indecent? The girl scolding me was none other than Kumiko Xianxia, the heiress to a prestigious Kyoto family, and our current student council president. She's basically the textbook definition of a villainess. In reality, she's destined to be nothing more than a comedic rival or a supporting character. But a heroine is still a heroine. She's destined to get tangled up with the main characters. I quickly tried to explain myself. I just thought, this branch would look really nice as a decoration in the student council room. Kumiko looked incredibly confused. Well, since my own secretary went out of his way to pick it, I suppose I can make an exception and put it in the office. I couldn't believe it. That was the most random excuse ever. And she actually bought it. But wait a second, why was she even here? Turns out, she wanted to have lunch with the student council executives. To build some team synergy. And she graciously decided to grant me the honor of joining them. She told me to hurry up and head to the cafeteria before all the seats were taken. But I warned her against eating there. I figured they wouldn't have any food suitable for a rich girl like her. Kumiko just laughed gracefully. My, you really don't know me at all, do you? Did you honestly think I was completely ignorant about commoner food and culture? Apparently, Kumiko still vividly remembered that spicy pork rice bowl she had at my family's restaurant last time, and she thought it was absolutely delicious. She can totally handle this kind of commoner food. Man, I feel like he's subtly trashing my family's restaurant. Still, for the president, who usually just eats steak in the student council room. This is actually pretty rare. But I told them the cafeteria straight up doesn't even serve spicy pork bowls. The only thing they have is a pork cutlet bowl, which is kind of similar. That made the president feel like something was off. No matter how you slice it, that name just sounds like junk food. Now the president was totally at a loss. Was she seriously about to eat junk food? Right at that moment, someone else showed up. It was another member of the student council. Kumiko's totally loyal lapdog. The second he arrived, he started going off about how I have zero sense of responsibility toward the student council. Because you never showed your face in the committee office, our poor lady has been looking all over for you. She hasn't even gotten to eat. Is it just me, or does his sentence structure make zero sense? How exactly is the young lady poor and pitiful? The very next second, the president stepped right in front of me. That is enough. Stop talking. But the guy clearly wasn't going to just let it go. I can't stand you anymore. You disrespectful little brat. The glasses guy was about to keep ranting. But the president just dragged him away. Right before they left, glasses guy still yelled at me to apologize to the president. I had absolutely no clue what the heck was going on. With all the main characters starting to show up, I guess this means this messy rom-com is officially kicking off. I've been bulking up so hard that my physique looks straight up terrifying. Even the main characters are avoiding me. Looks like whether you're in Korea or Japan, being super jacked is the way to go. Since the main characters have finally met, the story should just move forward on its own. And all I need to do is live a normal life like a background mob character. But right then, a hand tugged at the corner of my shirt. I turned around and jumped out of my skin. It was actually Rika Kishimoto, the new transfer student who just arrived today. I couldn't figure out why she was here, though. Turns out, she just came over to ask for directions. I was kind of curious, though. How did she even know my name? Oh, my name tag was clipped right onto my bag. Who would have thought Mr. Kim could be so silly? It's pretty cute. I totally did not see this coming. Suddenly, Rika gave me this mischievous little smirk. I knew I wasn't wrong about you. Just knew you were a pretty great guy. Wait, does she seriously think I'm a good person? The other students practically wet themselves just looking at me. So what exactly is her game here? What I mean is, why did she even notice me in the first place? Apparently, the weird aura I was giving off in class made it impossible for her to ignore me. She'd heard a ton of rumors about me too. 110% of them bad. But seeing how seriously I took the class, she got curious. Plus, Rika actually felt like I was super approachable. I guess a good guy is always a good guy. Man, I have a really bad feeling about this. I'm already tangled up with one of the main heroines. Seeing her be so sweet to a guy like me, even with all those crazy rumors flying around. Is she ranked number 1 in popularity? Just because she's naturally this friendly to everyone? I'm honestly debating if I should just flex my muscles and scare her off. Me zoning out clearly started to annoy her. You're obviously such a sweet guy. So why are you ignoring me? Even if the rest of the class might misunderstand you. I believe in you. I know everyone will eventually see the real you. They'll figure out that all those scary stories are just rumors. You might look a little intimidating. But deep down, you're an incredibly kind person. So, until everyone stops misunderstanding you, I'm going to stay right by your side as your friend. I'm really looking forward to it. Looks like just trying to scare her off with my muscles isn't gonna cut it, knowing her personality. It doesn't even matter if I look like a total thug, since we're in the exact same class. Bumping into each other is totally unavoidable. Guess I'll just have to go with the flow. But I'm definitely sticking to my act as a perfectly normal background character. I'm actually looking forward to it. Rika, I took a quick peek at the address in her hand. Wait, why does this address look so incredibly familiar? Isn't this that crazy wealthy neighborhood full of giant mansions? Don't tell me she's actually some rich heiress? I mentioned that the place really wasn't too far from my house. You can just take the same train as me. But suddenly, she sharply picked up on the hidden detail in my words. Wait, do we live really close to each other? It must be destiny. Seeing that look on her face, I instantly regretted talking so much. Man, I really shouldn't have opened my big mouth. Then, it suddenly hit me. I had prepared this absolute foolproof survival strategy. But there was one massive, fatal flaw. I had completely forgotten the entire plot of the original story. Even though I know every single rom-com trope in the book. Rather than blindly guessing as background character A, it'd be way easier to just get the intel directly from Rika herself. I could even just violently threaten the main guy into asking her out. A tiny little tweak like that shouldn't mess up the original plot too much, right? Before long, the train pulled into the station, and the second we stepped inside the carriage, nobody dared to even make eye contact with me, all because they thought I was completely terrifying. Rika quickly discovered the one massive perk of hanging out with me. Guaranteed seating. I finally dropped her off at Chateau's Funabashi station, but just as I was turning to leave, she called out to me. Hey Kim, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. The train doors slid shut before she could even finish her sentence. But, why did I suddenly feel this weird, sinking feeling in my gut? Is it because I'm actually getting tangled up with the main heroine? The next day at lunch, I was just cracking open my bento, when I caught Rika staring at me with these massive, puppy dog eyes. Don't tell me, you just sit out here and eat all by yourself every single day? I told her I really didn't have a choice. Everyone in class was absolutely terrified of me. But you should be eating down in the cafeteria with everyone else. I just waved her off and told her not to worry about me. You said it yourself, didn't you? One day, they'll all finally see the real me. So, I'll just wait patiently until then. But then, Rika's eyes suddenly locked onto my lunch. Oh wow, are those Japanese rice rolls? And wait, you've got Korean kimbap in there too. It was her first time ever seeing it in person. So, she immediately begged for a bite. Seeing her practically on the verge of tears, I just didn't have the cold, dead heart to turn her down. She took one little bite, and the flavor absolutely blew her mind. You really weren't kidding when you said your family runs a Korean barbecue place. This is incredibly authentic. She even made me promise to tell my mom how much she absolutely adored her cooking. Wanting to return the favor, Rika eagerly offered me a piece of her tamagoyaki. So, I popped a piece into my mouth. But the sheer taste of it completely shocked my system. Look, I know people say that half of life is made of sugar. But even so, isn't this way too freaking sweet? I practically choked out a gasp, asking her exactly how much sugar she dumped in there. Rika just blinked and said she had absolutely no idea. Honestly, purely for the sake of her own health, I felt it was my absolute duty to teach her how to make a zero-sugar Korean egg roll. But right at that moment, a sharp whistle pierced through the air. We snapped our heads up. It was actually the student council president and her executive officers. The president was literally trembling with absolute, unadulterated rage. Inappropriate fraternization between opposite sexes on school grounds? God above might have the mercy to forgive such shameless behavior, but the student council most certainly does not. As the president of the student council, there was absolutely no way she was going to let this slide. I was so confused. When did we even start dating? The girl with glasses took a step forward. A guy and a girl, eating alone together. How is that just a normal relationship? You got caught red-handed, and you're still making excuses. Don't you have any sense of responsibility? But, this wasn't about me taking responsibility. We literally just had a meal together. Besides, haven't we been bumping into each other a lot lately? Right then, Rika turned her gaze to the president. The president actually got a little flustered under her stare. Who are you? Do you have something to say to me? Suddenly, it clicked for Rika. Oh, you're the president of that evil student council. The president froze completely. Wait, since when did I become the villain? Rika mentioned that there were tons of rumors about her. Like how she loved wearing that black uniform. And carrying around a little fan. The president thought Rika was being incredibly rude. Technically, this outfit is meant to show the absolute authority of the student council. But Rika cut her off, telling her to save the excuses. Everyone's just making fun of you, you know. They're saying it's just cosplay. But hey, as long as you're confident, it's totally fine. The president's mood was instantly completely shattered. Are the students really mocking me for cosplaying? You could say the president suffered a crushing defeat today. She told Rika just to wait, she would definitely be back. She would absolutely get her revenge for this humiliation. She was holding a serious grudge. I still had no clue what the heck she was trying to do, or why she even showed up here in the first place. Soon enough, it was time for dismissal. Rika asked me why I hadn't gone home yet. What's on your mind? Then, she spotted the club promotional flyers on my desk. Realizing I hadn't joined a club yet, she offered to take me around to try out a few. I figured she had a point. I should probably scope out the clubs first. So, I slowly got up, ready to go check things out with her. But just to be clear, I warned her, I'm planning to check out every single sports club. Rika looked super confused, but honestly, here was my reasoning. I was really curious to see just how far my physical strength could take me. Then, I turned to Rika behind me. Where to next? Next up, the basketball club. Crushing them like this was actually pretty fun. By now, my plan to utterly dominate every single club had already spread like wildfire throughout the school. Kim Yoo-sung, you finally couldn't hold back anymore, huh? How could a guy like you stand the loneliness of being invincible? At that exact moment, I went for a slam dunk and completely shattered the backboard. The crowd watching below lost their minds. Right after that, I hit a baseball, and left a massive crater in the ground. Rika kept ticking them off in her notebook. Soccer, ping pong, track and field, volleyball, baseball, judo, kendo, swimming, and the tennis club. This was going perfectly. I asked Rika how many sports clubs were left. Rika gave a sly, wicked little smile. Oh, so that's what you're curious about. She dramatically took off her glasses. Allow me to answer that for you. I was a bit speechless. Was it really necessary to be this dramatic? If we skip ping pong, judo, and volleyball since they don't have tryouts today, there are only 3 clubs left. The track and field club, the swimming club, and the kendo club. Basically, there are 3 sports clubs left that you can still sign up for. I really appreciated Rika helping me out. But she honestly didn't have to go this far. Rika, on top of your modeling gigs, did you start taking acting classes too? She completely froze. Why? Why would you ask that out of nowhere? Actually, I think he's pretty talented. Whatever. Just pretend I didn't say anything. It's kind of embarrassing to talk about. Actually, Rika really did used to do some sort of performance work. I was instantly taken aback. Could it be exactly what I'm thinking? What else could possibly be so hard for her to talk about? But come on, there's no way the main heroine would have a dark backstory like that. Suddenly, she linked her arm tightly through mine. Let's not talk about this anymore. Don't we have another club to visit? Seeing her so flustered, I couldn't be bothered to press the issue. I decided we should hit up the kendo club first. Meanwhile, right at the entrance of the kendo dojo, I marched over, looking ready for a fight. Hearing the commotion, a crowd gathered to watch the drama unfold. I heard he wrecked all the other clubs. Is he really trying to swallow up the kendo club now too? Rika instantly switched into manager mode. If you have any business, you can discuss it with me. At that moment, the doors slowly opened, and a voice rang out. You finally made it this far. You third-rate punk, going around smashing up dojos using tryouts as a lame excuse. The very next moment, Yukika Kazama spoke up. Your rampage ends here. I will be the one to stop you. Everyone started wildly cheering for her. Look, I'm just here because I'm interested in the kendo club. Just tell me how to sign up for the tryout. Yukika clearly thought my attitude was arrogant. She declared a 1-point match. The first one to land a valid strike wins. I'll be your opponent. Please step into the training area. This got the crowd super hyped up. The human weapon versus the kendo club president. This is gonna be epic. Some people even pulled out their phones to start recording. Behind me, Rika let out a laugh. Looks like they're treating you like the ultimate villain. Yukika let out a furious roar. All of you, shut up. Stunned expressions washed over everyone's faces. This is a one-on-one duel between me and Kim Yoo-sung. I won't allow anyone else to interfere. If anyone insists on stepping in, then before I deal with Kim Yoo-sung, I'll absolutely take you down first. The crowd was so terrified they didn't dare make a sound. I didn't expect the captain's aura to be this intense. Rika was right. This pressure was no joke. This woman was seriously dangerous. So, I told Rika to wait by the door for a bit. I said I'd be right back. After stepping inside, I noticed a ton of weapons and gear. Yukika reminded me to put on protective equipment. I told her I didn't need it. I feel like I'm good just the way I am. We can start now. Don't blame me if you end up getting hurt. I cut her off right in the middle of her sentence. There's zero chance of me getting hurt. You're quite the joker. You probably won't even be able to touch a single hair on my head. Are you ready, Kim Yoo-sung? The very next second, the battle began. I blocked her strike with my sword. No matter how incredibly fast her sword swings were, I blocked every single one of them. But this was just testing the waters. The real duel hadn't even started yet. She thought I was just some ordinary guy. Soon enough, I intentionally left a wide opening. Naturally, Yukika wasn't going to let that slip by. She struck me hard right on the wrist. My sword was sent flying out of my grip. I stood there, totally stunned for a second. She called me an absolute idiot for not seeing through such a simple feint. And this next strike would be the final blow. But what Yukika absolutely never expected was, I suddenly burst out laughing, and it sounded absolutely terrifying. Yukika was completely caught off guard. Was it a trap? A split second she backed away. The arrow I just fired shot right back into my hand. Yukika cursed at me, calling me a madman. Or maybe just an absolute psycho. Is he trying to lure me in, just to grab his wooden sword and strike back? If I had been even 1 second slower, I would have been the one wiped out. That's what went through Yukika's mind. She realized I was way too dangerous. She definitely underestimated me back there. If this dragged on any longer, she'd be the one in real trouble. So, she made up her mind. One last strike, to end it all. Without missing a beat, she took her stance, unleashing every ounce of her energy. It was her clan's ultimate technique. The demon-slaying slash. Kim Yoo-sung, it's over. But I didn't feel pressured at all. Yukika's blade slammed right into my chest. How does that feel, Kim Yoo-sung? This was the Fuma clan's secret technique. Even during training, no one had ever managed to block this strike. Yukika was absolutely sure she'd won. But a split second later, she froze, right before I landed a clean uppercut to her jaw. She never saw that coming. Wait, was that a hidden weapon? How did I not see that? Yukika gripped her sword as tightly as she could. She stared at my body in disbelief. Is his defense seriously this overpowered? This damn muscle freak. Fast forward to early the next morning. The news that I beat the president of the kendo club had already spread like wildfire. Some people started guessing that I only did it to take control of the entire school. Honestly, it left me completely speechless. I just wanted a simple sparring match. Is this seriously still the rom-com storyline I thought I knew? But thank God Ryuji was acting like his usual self, totally unfazed by all the crazy rumors. He's the main character, right? So he shouldn't stray too far from the main plot, right? Just then, Rika walked over to say hi. But the very next second, the classroom doors slammed open, and a red-haired girl came storming right in. Ryuji, you bastard, get your ass out here right now. Everyone stared, wondering what the hell was going on. Wait, isn't that Tiju Karen from the kendo club? Ryuji stepped forward. I'm Ryuji, what do you want with me? I heard you've been bullying the freshmen in our club. I visited them at the hospital yesterday, and they told me everything. Ryuji figured there had to be some kind of misunderstanding, so Mai stepped up to explain. Look, there's definitely been a massive misunderstanding here. But she was immediately chewed out. Who do you think you are? Mai was starting to lose her temper, too. You're from the kendo club, right? Well, your freshmen are the ones who were totally out of line. Yesterday, a bunch of your kendo students came after me. They even tried to forcefully drag me into an alley. I kept telling them to stop, but they wouldn't listen. I was absolutely terrified. I had no idea what to do. It was Ryuji who saved me. Now that you know the truth, do you really still think Ryuji did something wrong? If you've got that through your head, then hurry up and go discipline your own students. This wasn't Ryuji's fault at all. It was all on her kendo freshman. Tiju Karen finally seemed to get the picture. But then, she suddenly shouted at the top of her lungs. Ryuji, be my man. She declared she'd make Ryuji the happiest guy in the world. Mai just froze. My mind was completely spinning. Like, is that seriously something a girl should be saying out loud? Naturally, Mai wasn't having any of it, but me? Oh, I was instantly hooked. Launching a confession attack right now? Man, the world of rom-coms is absolutely terrifying. I needed to grab some popcorn, ASAP. And clearly, I wasn't the only one eating this up. Rika was totally soaking up the gossip, too. Could this be the legendary love at first sight? This girl is just way too cool. Man, things are getting totally out of hand. Two girls who were supposed to be bitter rivals in the original story are actually becoming besties. And Rika? She instantly switched into love guru mode, ready to teach Tiju Karen all her tricks for chasing boys. The whole classroom was buzzing right now. Everyone was placing bets on who Ryuji would actually choose. Some thought the hot girl was a much better match. Looks like that little stunt from earlier really got the rumor mill going. I mean, especially after Karen dropped a massive bombshell like that. I'm pretty sure this is gonna spread all over the school. Right then, Rika turned to me and asked, who do you think Ryuji will end up with? Honestly, I wasn't too sure myself. If we're going by the original plot, he's supposed to end up with his childhood friend. But then Rika smirked and said, actually, she already knew exactly who he'd be dating. And her answer? Tiju Karen. But, there was a catch. Rika had to be her personal dating coach. She seemed super confident in her counseling skills, by the way. She kept calling herself an expert, bragging about how she's been in countless relationships. I didn't get why she was so hyped about this. Was she really that desperate to give someone love advice? Time flew by, and soon it was the afternoon. But when I pushed the door open, I spotted a figure sitting right in front of me. And yep, it was Tiju Karen. I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Why the heck was she sitting in our classroom? According to a friend, she was planning to stick to Ryuji like glue. And drag him out this weekend. Wait, if they're hanging out this weekend, doesn't that literally mean it's a date? But what my friend said next completely threw me off. Rumor has it, she's the daughter of some big shot. Like, her dad is supposedly a mob boss in the Yakuza, and Karen definitely inherited her father's terrifying strength. Apparently, her family runs a massive syndicate that controls the entire Kanto region. That news definitely caught me off guard. Man, but honestly, I didn't really care. Man, even with her crazy background, it's not like Karen had actually done anything bad. But it didn't take long for me to realize something was off. I mean, come to think of it, I'm already stuck inside a rom-com manga. Wild stuff like this is bound to happen all the time, right? But right at that moment, Tiju Karen suddenly shouted, Ryuji, you still haven't accepted my invitation for the weekend. I really need to properly apologize to you. So please, will you go out with me? Mai quickly stepped in, telling her to stop bothering Ryuji. Her constant pushing was clearly making Ryuji uncomfortable. Naturally, Tiju Karen got pretty mad. And what does this have to do with you? She snapped. Watching this scene unfold, the whole class was totally jealous. Man, I wish I had two girls fighting over me like that. Then things got really hilarious. Karen kept coming back to invite him during class, and even ambushed him on his way to the bathroom. Ryuji was absolutely losing his mind. He was practically begging Teju to give it a rest. Later, during lunch, Rika asked me what I was planning to do this weekend, but I really didn't have anything going on. I was just thinking about helping out at the restaurant, when Rika suddenly asked if I'd consider going over to her place. Her place is completely loaded with manga. You name it, she's got it. He even told me I'd be totally blown away, since his dad's actually a collector. It sounds exactly like a manga cafe, so I figured I'd definitely give her a call whenever I'm free. Then, it suddenly hit me. I realized Rika had been eating a ton, but she's still so incredibly skinny. Rika told me not to worry about it, though. He said no matter what she eats, she just doesn't gain weight. She's just naturally built like that. I was pretty shocked. Do people like that actually exist? Out of nowhere, Karen Teju walked right over to us. Rika had no idea why Karen sat down right next to her, but hey, perfect timing. She finally had the chance to give someone dating advice. So, she jumped right in and struck up a conversation. After a quick introduction, Rika noticed that Karen seemed really weighed down by something lately. So, Rika wanted to help her out. The moment she heard Rika's name, though, Karen gasped in surprise. She'd actually heard that Rika was some sort of love guru. Playing hard to get, Rika pretended not to hear her and asked Karen to say it again. So Karen practically shouted, "I heard you're an expert at giving relationship advice. I've heard all about you." I couldn't believe it. Everything Rika had told me was actually true. She really was an expert. Karen looked so confused, though. She wondered how anyone could possibly know her secret. You come to our class looking for Ryuji during every single break. It'd be crazy not to notice. Karen frantically clapped her hand over Rika's mouth. Everyone's gonna hear you. Keep it down. Karen begged for Rika's advice, especially when it came to her love life. By the time I got back, I realized Rika was having way too much fun with this. Including me. Tomorrow after school, we're all going to sit down and have a serious talk. And yeah, that included me. But wait a second, in the original story, weren't those two supposed to be Ryuji's rivals in love? Why was she being so eager to help out? It was just so weird, but honestly, I couldn't be bothered to overthink it. I figured I'd better just focus on my workout. But the second I walked in, I saw the place was absolutely packed. Was there some kind of special event going on today? Literally everyone showed up. Right then, I heard a voice calling out to me from behind. I turned around, and holy crap, it was Yukika. She's literally the eldest daughter of a Yakuza family. Yet here she was, trying to learn how to do her makeup and dress up, all just to get a boyfriend. And honestly, it was all thanks to Rika's coaching. Just a minute ago, I realized Yukika Kazama had snuck up right behind me. Her expression was totally different from before. Seeing her there, it finally clicked. I suddenly understood why. All the guys in the gym were acting so hyped up. But Yukika looked completely lost, not knowing where to start. I found out a bit later that the only reason we bumped into each other here was because she had just moved into the neighborhood. While I was still trying to wrap my head around it, a loud voice boomed from behind me. "Absolutely perfect," shouted Yuhiro Nakayama. He wanted me to show Yukika the ropes around the gym. But knowing this crazy old guy, he probably thought she only came here because she had a crush on me. I swear, the old man was getting totally the wrong idea. After that, it was my time to shine. The old man told me to bang out a 220-kilogram warm-up set. That completely caught Yukika off guard. Wait, going that heavy right from the start? The old man told her not to sweat it. He'd been a pro for 20 years, but he swore he'd never seen a freaking monster quite like me. I just stepped up and gripped the barbell hard. I bent my knees just a little, and right under the boss's shocked gaze, I jumped right into doing deep squats, and Yukika stared at me like I was crazy. Then the old man grumbled that 220 kilos was way too light, and told them to bump it up to 270. Honestly, 270 kilos was a piece of cake for me too. The old man just winked at Yukika. "See? I told you the kid's a total monster. You really don't need to worry about him." Yukika had to admit it too. There was absolutely no way a second-year high schooler should have a build like that. He really was a monster. It was exactly like the legendary anomaly he'd only ever heard rumors about. The ultimate yang physique. And about that, Yukika was absolutely certain now. It was the absolute peak of masculine vitality. A constitution born with the sheer strength of 100 men. In all the myths and legends, every single great hero possessed a body just like this. He was completely sure of it, because he had actually fought me hand to hand before. That kind of terrifying power? You don't get that just from working out. Yukika realized he needed to report this to asterisk that person, and fast. Fast forward to the very next day. We headed over to Teju Karen's place. Everyone there bowed deeply to her. "Welcome back, Miss. Wow, her family really is part of the Yakuza." But why wasn't Rika surprised at all? Was this seriously just a normal thing in this world? As someone who just got isekai'd into this place, I don't think I'll ever get used to this. But man, the intimidating aura I was naturally giving off actually had these hardcore gangsters looking pretty spooked. One of them immediately blocked my path. "Hey, you punk, are you a spy from a rival syndicate?" That nearly gave Teju Karen a heart attack. What on earth are you talking about? She yelled. He's my classmate. But her guys weren't buying it at all. Look at him. The guy is radiating a terrifying aura. And there's no way a face like that belongs to a high schooler. Boss, get away from him, quick. Stay back. Seriously? I hadn't even done anything. Just because I look a little older than my age, I have to get treated like a mob hitman? Once we finally got inside, Taju Karen couldn't stop apologizing to me. I just sighed. It's fine, don't worry about it. I'm pretty much used to it by now. Though, thanks for the invite, but honestly, I really don't think I'm gonna be much help with relationship advice. But Rika insisted I be super useful and told me to just wait on the sidelines for now. Then she went right into guru mode, telling Taju Karen, rule number 1 of romance. You have to know how to cook. Just trust your resident love expert, Rika. Man, does she really feel zero embarrassment calling herself that? After that, the three of us got down to cooking. And by cooking, I mean we were stuck in that kitchen from noon all the way until nightfall. Taju Karen finally managed to put together a bento box. It was her very first time making one from scratch. Honestly, it turned out pretty decent. Although, just a few minutes ago, she accidentally cranked the stove up way too high, and literally incinerated all her ingredients into a cloud of ash. I mean, I know she's a beginner, but this culinary journey might just be a bit too traumatic for her. Smelling all that food eventually made Rika's stomach start growling. So I spoke up. Hey, you guys want me to whip up something quick for dinner? I told Rika to leave the food to me. You just focus on teaching Taju Karen how to get the guy. Very next second, I started making my absolute specialty, egg fried rice. The way I was tossing that wok around absolutely blew their minds. In just 60 seconds flat, I had whipped up a perfect plate of golden egg fried rice. They both took a bite, and their eyes lit up. Oh my god, this is incredible. Taju Karen and Rika were totally shocked. Wait, you actually know how to cook? And it tastes this good? I just shrugged and explained, well, back in my freshman year. I actually started making my own lunches this semester. Back in the first term, Mom would always get up super early just to make my lunch. Every time I saw how exhausted she looked, I felt really bad about it. At first, since I was pretty clumsy, it was a real struggle to make anything. But now, I've finally got the hang of it. Man, this smell is already making Rika's mouth water. Helping out a hardworking mom, that's just so touching. Now that I think about it, Rika almost forgot something. It's a gift she specially prepared before coming over. Yesterday, Rika went out of her way to buy some makeup essentials. She even wrote down all the skincare steps on a sticky note. Next time you need to restock, just follow this list. Once you learn how to do your makeup and successfully score a date, we'll go clothes shopping together. But Rika had only ever seen Tojo at school, which is a bit different from her usual style. Her school style is kind of like an old man in a gym jersey. Ouch. That comment really stung Tojo. I didn't expect Rika to be so brutally honest. Right after that, she got ready to do Tojo's makeup. She told me to just wait out here, and strictly warned me not to peek. Otherwise, I'll drag you in there. Then, she pushed Rika right into the room. I honestly have no idea what I'm even doing here. This is seriously cutting into my training time. After a long, busy day, we were finally getting ready to head out. Rika was really hoping Tojo's date would be a success. Right then, I passed by a convenience store, and figured I'd pop in to grab a manga magazine. Rika got all excited and wanted to go in and buy something too. This time, I was picking up the latest Rui-chan. Turns out, Rika loves this manga too. Plus, she said her dad always told her, people who love manga can't possibly be bad people. But if I remember correctly, Rika buys it every single week too. So, she proudly declared that she must be a good person, too. I just nodded. Well, you're not wrong about that, I said. Because you're absolutely a good person. You've been giving it your all for Tojo all day. In my eyes, anyone who can go that far for someone else is definitely a good person. My words made Rika turn completely red. You idiot, why would you say something so embarrassing? And with that, she just paid for her stuff and bolted. She was probably just way too shy. But honestly, I didn't think so. Knowing her, I bet she just really had to go take a crap. Probably couldn't hold it in anymore. Anyway, fast forward to the next day. Everyone was absolutely floored by Tojo's new look. Today, she actually had her hair tied up in cute little braids. And she was even wearing a skirt. Honestly, if you didn't look closely, you really wouldn't even recognize her. The transformation was just insane. Right at that moment, Tojo pulled out a letter. This is a letter of challenge. Ryuji, this weekend, you have to come somewhere with me. But Ryuji just stood there, completely frozen. Ryuji literally had no idea that the girl standing right in front of him was actually Tojo. Talk about a glow up. Acting as her personal love guru, Rika had completely transformed Karen Tojo into a totally different vibe. Just a bit earlier, Rika had dragged Karen straight to the women's clothing store. Honestly, I felt super out of place. It felt like I had stepped into another dimension. Karen asked us to help her pick out an outfit for her date. I was so confused, like, wait, do I really have to go too? But before I could even get an answer, Rika just dragged both of us straight into the store. Whenever she spotted a cute outfit, she'd immediately pull Karen over to try it on. While I watched in absolute shock, she picked out outfit after outfit. Once Karen Tojo couldn't hold any more clothes, Rika just shoved her straight into the fitting room. A second later, a voice called out from inside. This cute style doesn't suit me at all. But Rika just gave a sneaky little laugh, and squeezed right into the fitting room with her. Hey, hold still, let me handle this. Right after that, a whole series of totally unfamily-friendly sounds came from behind the curtain. By the time she finally stepped out, Karen looked like a completely different person. Rika stood back to admire her masterpiece. And even though Karen thought the skirt was way too short, once I told her she looked great, her face turned bright red, and she didn't argue anymore. Honestly, I couldn't believe the transformation. I guess clothes really do make the woman. That saying isn't a joke. Meanwhile, over at the Tojo Syndicate headquarters, which is also Karen's home. In a dimly lit room, a group of men stared at the guy sitting in the chair, too terrified to speak. It was none other than Naoto Tojo, the 6th chairman of the Tojo Syndicate. Known as the blood-soaked madman, he muttered. So, it seems my Karen has finally found a boy she likes. His men were stunned, wondering who on earth the young miss could have fallen for. But I won't hand my daughter over to just anyone. Morito, what did you say that punk's name was again? Chairman, his name is Ryuji Sakamoto. He attends the same school as the young miss. Yesterday, the young miss said she wanted to visit a hair salon, so I drove her there myself. Today, her credit card statement showed transactions from a clothing boutique at the mall. Based on this, we are certain she is planning a date with him. Hearing that, Naoto's eyebrows slammed together in absolute fury. He instantly grabbed the blade resting next to him. How dare that little brat? His men panicked and rushed to hold the chairman back. After cooling down just a fraction, Naoto snarled. This weekend, if any of you have some free time, you're coming with me. Our mission is to spy on their little date from the shadows. We're going to make sure that Punk doesn't try anything funny. Yes, Chairman. Everyone allowed in that room was a high-ranking executive of the Tojo Syndicate. So they agreed without a single second of hesitation. Meanwhile, back with us, we were staring at the burgers and sodas on the table, totally out of appetite. Rika was so exhausted she didn't even have the energy to chew. Hey, Rika, seriously, thank you so much for today. Oh, don't mention it. That's what friends are for. Plus, hanging out with you today made the shopping trip super fun. Karen noticed I was only eating one burger and looked at me, confused. Is one burger really enough for a guy your size? You can order as much as you want, you know. After all the help you've given me, buying you food is the absolute least I can do. No thanks. I'm already super full from lunch. I used to think she was just some delinquent girl. I never imagined she'd become this close with us. Catching me staring at her, she suddenly got super shy. Anyway, have you planned out the route for your date tomorrow? Karen thought about it for a second. Well, we're going to a cafe. And then we'll catch a movie, and get dinner. Isn't that how these things usually go? Hearing such a basic plan, Rika immediately got fired up. No. Don't just do what everyone else does. Skip the movie and go. Here, she shoved her phone screen in our faces, showing a gorgeous aquarium. It makes you feel like you're deep in the ocean. Watching the fish and coral reefs glowing together is amazing. But the most important part is the romantic, soft lighting. Trust me, with an atmosphere like that, you two are guaranteed to fall head over heels for each other. You absolutely have to trust the advice of Rika, the ultimate love expert. I just stared at the two of them, completely speechless. The next day, after Rika and I gave her a pep talk, we watched her walk away. We were so sure her date today was going to be a massive success. Lily-chan, what are your plans for today? I honestly had no idea when I got that nickname. After a brief pause, I replied, I'll probably just stay home and read manga. Seeing that I was free, Rika immediately chimed in. Then let's go tail her. As her besties, we have to see her happiness through to the very end. Seeing the burning fire of gossip in her eyes, I didn't even know what to say anymore, so I just gave in and agreed. Just like that, the Rika and Kim Yoo-sung duo was officially formed. Meanwhile, people on the streets were staring at a massive, overwhelming crowd of figures that suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Everyone immediately scattered out of the way. The man leading them was none other than Taiju Karen's father. He had brought his gang of subordinates right to the spot of his daughter's date. They're on a date, an actual date. The main couple had finally started their date. To Ryuji, Taiju Karen looked incredibly gorgeous today. Realizing he was staring, he quickly apologized. Completely captivated by her beauty, Ryuji just blurted out, You look really beautiful today. The second those words left his mouth, a bright red blush instantly crept across her cheeks. How about we go grab a cup of tea first? And plan out our schedule for today? But just as Ryuji tried to help carry her bag for her, they awkwardly went back and forth, both trying to be polite. Meanwhile, a disguised Rika and I were hiding around a distant corner, right by a yesterday's special sign. Seeing the two of them walk away, Rika quickly tailed them. I reacted a second too late, but hurried to catch up too. I heard this cafe is really famous. Looks nice. Yeah, it really does look pretty nice. However, Teju Naoto, who was also in disguise and secretly spying from the shadows, was gritting his teeth in absolute rage. My daughter was the one who asked him out, and this punk actually dared to make her wait for 5 whole minutes? His men desperately held the boss back. Once he had finally calmed down, they said, "Boss, the people around us are starting to get suspicious. Even though our disguises are absolutely flawless. Boss, our group is just way too obvious right now. Why don't we split everyone into pairs to tail them?" Teju Naoto instantly thought that was a brilliant idea, and quickly started giving out the orders. Once inside the cafe, Rika ordered a giant strawberry parfait and just started taking pictures of it like crazy. Totally forgetting why we were even there in the first place. But suddenly, I noticed something. The guys sitting diagonally from us seemed to be up to no good. Even Rika started to catch on. There were so many weird people all around us, and I just had this gut feeling. They might actually be connected to the Teju clan. Especially that guy with the red hair. He looked exactly like a hardcore gangster. The aquarium has dolphins. Let's go see the dolphins first. Okay, sounds good. Let's do it. Today is definitely going to be so much fun. Teju Karen just couldn't stop smiling the entire time. Honestly, I felt like it was getting a bit too dramatic. Plus, I just had a feeling that this date was not going to end well. Every time the two of them had a sweet moment, a bunch of people around them would just glare at them with pure venom. Shortly after, Ryuji and Teju Karen got on the train. The crowd was so packed that Teju Karen was forced right into Ryuji's chest. I was also shielding Rika, making sure she wouldn't get crushed by the crowd. Rika's cheeks instantly flushed bright red. People in the carriage were constantly yelling at everyone to stop pushing, but it didn't help at all. We had to take the subway to get to the aquarium, but we had no idea it would be this insanely packed. Rika was thinking about how incredibly close she was to Lily-chan. Seeing Rika's face turning completely red, I just assumed she was getting squished by the crowd. Hang in there, we'll be there soon. Just hold on a little longer. Once we reached the station, the crowd swarmed out. I immediately grabbed Rika's hand. Make sure you hold on tight. Otherwise, we're gonna lose them. Once we were out of the station, we finally breathed a sigh of relief. Just then, Rika raised her hand, which I was still holding, and said, "You can let go now." I quickly let go of her hand. She looked down and muttered softly, "Be a little gentler next time." Her voice was barely a whisper. I thought I heard her wrong. Wait, next time? I looked up and saw the two of them had already crossed the street, and the light had just turned red. Rika panicked. What do we do now? Let's just head straight to the aquarium. That's where they're going anyway. Right then, I heard voices behind us. It was those guys from the restaurant. I told you we should have driven. How was I supposed to know it'd be this packed on a weekend morning? I glanced at the suspicious group. Those guys were definitely the same guys I saw at the Teju estate. I need to be careful. If they recognize me, I'm screwed. But Teju Naoto still noticed me acting weird. Shut up, all of you. Why is that guy acting so suspiciously? Hearing their boss speak, the whole group turned to look at me waiting at the crosswalk. Boss, I think that's Kim Yoo-sung, the young Mrs. Friend. He was at the mansion a few days ago. Teju Naoto finally remembered who I was. With that massive build of his, I thought he was a hitman sent by a rival family. Well, in that case, let's just tail them. Looks like they're worried about Karen too, and decided to tag along. After a while, Ryuji and Teju Karen finally arrived at the aquarium. But they had no idea they were being watched. Was that Ryuji just now? That bastard is the reason we got kicked out of the kendo club. And he has the nerve to be out on a date? The more they thought about it, the more furious they became, completely blinded by rage. The girl was the heiress to a powerful Yakuza family, yet these blind idiots kept provoking them again and again. They didn't even take the main character of this manga world seriously. You see, just a moment ago, we saw Ryuji and Teju Karen getting along perfectly, so Rika and I finally let our guard down. We headed over to an open lawn, laid out a picnic blanket, and got ready to eat. Today, I made Rika's absolute favorites, kimbap and inari sushi. Rika stared at the massive spread of food, practically drooling. She had completely forgotten that we were supposed to be spying on Karen's date. Not too far away, Teju Karen was nervously opening the bento box she had prepared. Her heart was pounding. After all, this was her first time personally cooking for the guy she liked. She had pestered me relentlessly just to get this meal right. She practiced day and night for 3 whole days. Karen squeezed her eyes shut and pulled off the lid. Ta-da! Inside was a colorful array of food. Just looking at it, you could tell it tasted amazing. Ryuji's appetite was instantly triggered. He grabbed a rice ball and tossed it straight into his mouth. Watching him slowly take that bite, Karen held her breath in pure suspense. She was terrified he might spit it out. But to her utter delight, Ryuji looked like he was in heaven. Wow, this is so good. Hearing that validation, a massive, beaming smile spread across Karen's face. She quickly picked up another piece and offered it to Ryuji. Seeing the eager, expectant look on Karen's face, he just couldn't bring himself to say no. Karen watched him closely, waiting for his verdict. When Ryuji finally gave her a big thumbs up, she breathed a huge sigh of relief. Meanwhile, Rika and I were hiding just a few steps away, eating our food while watching their little show. The air was just thick with their sickeningly sweet romance. Now it was Ryuji's turn, stuffing Karen's cheeks full of food. But honestly, something felt a bit off to me. When am I gonna get to go on a date like that? Rika's sudden whining completely snapped me out of my suspicions. Wait, don't you always brag about being a love guru? Hehe. Actually, I've never been on a real date. I learned everything from romance manga. No wonder she had all those ridiculous theories. I let out a heavy, tired sigh. Looks like they're wrapping up over there. Come on, let's pack up and tail them. Hey, I've solved relationship problems for tons of my friends, you know. Yeah, sure you have. You? Help? Seeing Rika getting all flustered and defensive, honestly made me feel pretty damn smug. After we snuck out of the aquarium, Rika and I poked our heads out from behind a tree. We watched the two of them closely. They were staring at each other like they couldn't bear to say goodbye. I figured, alright, one of them has to confess now, right? But suddenly, my eyes narrowed. Two shady guys just blocked Ryuji and Karen's path. Without a word, one of them smacked the lunchbox right out of Ryuji's hands. You two timing piece of trash. We finally caught you. Last time, you walked off with the chick we were hitting on. And now you're out screwing around with a new girl? Rika panicked and whispered, asking if we should call the cops. Forget it, I muttered. Even if we call the cops, they won't get here in time. If things get ugly, I'm stepping in. Ryuji stepped up and barked back at them. You guys have some serious nerve. I can't believe you dared to show your faces again. Listening to them argue, it suddenly clicked. I knew exactly who these guys were. They were those freshmen who got kicked out of the kendo club. Back then, Ryuji had stepped in to save Karen, and beat the absolute crap out of these two. We got kicked out of the club just because we fought you. One yelled. That was the breaking point for Karen. She stepped up, furious. You deserve to get kicked out. You're both just a bunch of pathetic losers. It was only then that the two idiots took a closer look. And realized this gorgeous girl in front of them was actually Karen with makeup on. Wait, the tomboy actually put on makeup today? Don't tell me you're actually out on a date with this two-timing loser. You guys are a total joke together. You used to roll around in the mud fighting people every single day. Ryuji and Karen gritted their teeth, absolutely shaking with anger. Shut your damn mouths. But the two thugs just sneered. Hey, did you really think we'd show up here all by ourselves today? A third voice rang out. So, this is the punk? The one who laid hands on my boys. That's right. Our boss here is a total legend around Kita High. You're dead meat today, kid. Seeing the new guy, Ryuji's face fell. He knew he was completely outmatched. He desperately shoved Karen, yelling at her to run. But the boss shot forward and grabbed her by the arm. Let her go. Ryuji roared. This is between us. Keep her out of it. But his only answer was a brutal, heavy punch straight to the gut. That was it. I couldn't sit back and watch anymore. I told Rika to stay put and keep her head down. Ryuji was already collapsing to his knees, gasping in agony. I think I'll be taking your little girlfriend with me, the boss laughed. But by then, I was already standing dead silent right behind him. I grabbed his wrist and wrenched it back violently. A sickening crack echoed through the air. Without missing a beat, I hurled him over my shoulder, tossing him like he was nothing but a rag doll. He hit the dirt, completely powerless to fight back. I'm usually a pretty calm guy. But this time, I was seeing red. You shouldn't have laid your filthy hands on my friends. To think the head of a Yakuza family would actually tremble before a mere teenager. That terrifying aura, he'd only ever felt it from the god of destruction. I might not know exactly how strong I am, but I do know this. I have never lost. At first, seeing his daughter being bullied, Tojo Naoto was absolutely furious as a father. He was just about to lead his men, and beat that punk half to death. But then I appeared right behind them, and the overwhelming aura I gave off actually made Tojo Naoto, the boss of the Tojo clan, shake uncontrollably. In all his years, he had only felt this way once before, from the boss of the Russian Red Mafia. Ivan, the god of destruction. To think my aura was actually on par with his. Once, by pure chance, when he was alone with him, his survival instincts made his body violently shake. It was an absolute, overwhelming terror. The primal dread of facing an apex predator. Right now, I couldn't care less about messing up the original plot. I just wanted to wipe out the trash standing in front of me. Looking at the people around us, I didn't want them getting caught in the crossfire, so I told Tojo Karen, Rika, and Ryuji to leave first. Tojo Karen wanted to say something, but I cut her off immediately. I told her there was no way I'd lose to scum like this. Hearing that, the blonde punk completely lost his temper. He swung right at me, but I just stood there, without taking a single step back. His punches felt like cotton, there was zero power behind them. Seeing that I wasn't dodging at all, he started smirking arrogantly, but after watching me take so many hits, without a single scratch on me. Cold sweat started dripping down his face. Can this freak even feel pain? He didn't even flinch. Then let's try this. The blonde punk immediately dashed to my side. His fist seemed to glow with a faint red light. Rika covered her mouth, absolutely terrified for me. A tiny drop of blood finally trickled from my nose. Well, from this moment on, it counts as self-defense. I threw a direct punch right at the blonde's face. Legally, self-defense usually only covers a single strike. But one strike was more than enough. Everyone around us could clearly hear the sickening crunch of shattering bones and breaking teeth. The blonde punk flew straight backward, only stopping when he violently smashed into a tree. If I hit him any harder, it would have been excessive force. Man, what a letdown. The other two looked at me like I was some kind of demon god, shaking like leaves in absolute terror. Do you have any idea who I am? My dad is a high-ranking police officer. What a cliché threat. Isn't this exactly how mob characters talk? I completely ignored them, grabbing both of them by the throat and lifting them right off the ground. Right before they choked out, I slammed them brutally into the dirt. Grab your boss and get the hell out of here. Don't you ever show your faces in front of Tojo Karen again. Seeing that it was all over, Rika immediately ran over. Are you okay? Your face is bleeding. Ah, it's just a little blood. It'll be fine in a minute. But Rika actually lost her temper. Stop joking around. We're going to the pharmacy right now. I was stunned, and just nodded in agreement. I had never seen Rika this mad before. But as we were leaving, I noticed the vibe between the other two was kind of tense. Listening closely, I realized they were actually both blaming themselves for what happened. And then, right in the middle of all this, Tojo Karen actually confessed her feelings. Wait a minute, shouldn't those two be thanking me? Shouldn't they be checking to see if I'm alright first? Instead, Tojo Karen just looked deeply into his eyes and said, let's date. It updated. The newest chapter finally dropped. And just now, Ryuji rejected Tojo Karen's confession. She never expected it to end like this. After all, they had such a wonderful time together today. If you don't like me right now, I can always try harder. Honestly, I'm the one who isn't good enough for you. When I was a kid, I promised a little girl I would marry her, so I'm not planning on dating anyone. Taju's head instantly dropped. She really didn't see this coming. Do you love her? But Ryuji admitted, he wasn't even sure himself. He just remembered liking her a lot back then. So, she's your first love, your childhood sweetheart. Well, since you've already made up your mind, I'll step back and let it go. With that, Karen Taju put on a brave face and waved goodbye. But the second she turned around, tears started helplessly welling up in her eyes. I knew it would end up like this. Rika, you should head on home first. Rika immediately wondered what I was up to. Without even looking back, I just said, I'll see you at school next week. She stood there, watching my back, probably sensing that I was hiding something, and maybe even feeling a little sad myself. Eventually, I managed to find Karen Taju waiting by the bus stop. Taju, are you holding up okay? But when she looked up, her face was completely covered in tears. I quickly handed her some tissues, letting out a helpless little sigh. Look at you, falling completely apart. Couldn't you try to be just a bit tougher? Kim Yoo-sung, I have never cried in front of anyone before, so you better not tell a soul. Of course I won't, we're friends, aren't we? Actually, I knew you and Rika were following us the whole time. I froze for a second. Are people in this rom-com world really this perceptive? Look, we didn't mean to pry, I know. I know you guys were just worried about me, which is why you kept an eye on me all day long. You both went through all that trouble, and I still managed to mess everything up. I really thought, if I just changed myself, Ryuji might finally make a little room for me in his heart. But I was so wrong. God, my chest hurts so much right now. And there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. Can you believe that? I really, truly loved him. The moment those words left her lips, a strange feeling washed over me. Up until now, I had always convinced myself that this was just a comic book. Rika was the only one slowly changing how I saw things. Her sweet smile always making my heart skip a beat. But even then, I kept a strict line drawn in my mind, telling myself they were nothing more than fictional characters. Today, I could actually feel her agonizing pain. Are they really just characters on a page anymore? I told her to stop crying. Karen didn't quite catch it through her sobs, and asked me what I said. I immediately pointed right at her nose and declared, if you shed one more tear, I'm calling the cops and reporting you for disturbing the peace. Karen stared at me, completely stunned at first. Then, she burst into laughter. Are you seriously saying that to a girl who just got her heart broken? Without missing a beat, I took off my jacket and draped it right over her shoulders. Can we go sing karaoke? She asked. I blinked, totally caught off guard. Because I need to scream out all this terrible luck. Hearing that, I paused for a second. Then I simply turned and started walking, completely ignoring her yelling after me. But the very next second, I grabbed her hand and we dashed down the street, not stopping until we hit the karaoke joint. By then, the dark cloud over Karen's heart had finally cleared up. And for me, I truly felt that she was a living, breathing person. Not just some drawing in a comic book. Meanwhile, Teju Naoto's bodyguards were bawling their eyes out, snot running down their faces. It's so wonderful that our young miss has a friend like him. You just don't see good kids like that in this cruel world anymore. A smile broke out on Naoto Tojo's face. Yeah, that's pretty rare. Right after that, I was at the karaoke room, listening to Heron Tojo singing completely off-key. But hey, as long as she could finally move on. Putting up with a little suffering was honestly no big deal. The girl simply mentioned that she wanted to take a look at my room. But that completely caught me off guard. Simply because my room was absolutely stuffed with workout gear, and piles of manga everywhere. But to my surprise, not only did she not make fun of me, she even told me she came from a family of manga artists, and her dad was actually my biggest idol. So right now, I was bringing Rika into my room. Her face lit up with surprise. Wow, so this is what a boy's room looks like. Wait, do all guys have this much gym equipment in their rooms? Right then, she spotted a dumbbell. But with her tiny bit of strength, there was no way she could lift it. I let out a heavy sigh. There was a good reason why Rika couldn't budge it. That little dumbbell was probably double her body weight. It started out just like any other day. I was walking to the subway station after school, when Rika's stomach suddenly started rumbling. So, I threw out the idea. Why not swing by my family's diner for a quick bite? Hearing that, it finally clicked for Rika. That my family ran a restaurant. I was thinking to myself, it should be fine. It's just a casual meal. But man, when we actually sat down at the restaurant, my jaw hit the floor. Who would have thought she was a literal bottomless pit? She demolished 2 whole tables of massive meals, and chugged 3 cans of cola before finally feeling full. And she hit it off with my mom super fast. Auntie, your cooking is amazing. My mom told her to slow down, and offered to make more if she was still hungry. She really knew how to appreciate the fermented soybean paste. It looked like my mom was totally charmed by her. Anyway, I figured she'd just head home after eating. But out of nowhere, she suggested checking out my room. She was like, hey, since I'm already here, it'd be such a shame not to take a look. And I, being completely clueless, thought nothing of it. I couldn't believe she actually wanted to see my room. As I handed her a drink, she gave me this mischievous little smirk. Oh, so you're into romantic comedy manga? But little did she know, the only reason I bought that stuff was to predict the plot twists. I mean, let's be real, those storylines are all basically the same. Rika glanced around, and realized my manga collection was seriously massive. I had works from Golden Sakurai, and even that classic childhood romance series. Rika absolutely adored those too. I even pulled out my super rare first editions for her. Whenever I think about it, I just have to read it all over again from chapter 1. This manga is an absolute masterpiece. The artwork is breathtakingly beautiful, and even though the ending is kind of subtle, it leaves this incredible, lingering impact. I am just so obsessed with that feeling. Listening to me geek out over the plot, a warm smile spread across Rika's face. I kept rambling enthusiastically. The psychological depth of the characters is just brilliantly written. Add in the cinematic paneling and all the clever foreshadowing. This series is legendary. Rika looked genuinely thrilled. She had never met someone who was this hardcore of a manga nerd before. My dad is going to be so happy. I blinked in total confusion. Wait, what does your dad have to do with this? It turned out, Rika's dad was a professional manga artist. And not just any artist, he was the author of Golden Samurai. That bombshell hit me like a bolt of lightning. Rika was the daughter of an absolute legend? But honestly, it made total sense. I mean, Rika's hair was literally golden blonde. Kishimoto Masashi's wife is British, so I guess that explains Rika's blonde hair. But now that I think about it, it'd be a waste not to use the connection right in front of me. So, I asked Rika for a huge favor. I wanted to see if she could get her dad's autograph for me. Rika said no problem at all, and even offered to introduce me to him. But there was something else I was really curious about. Your dad has so many other hit series, so why is Golden Sakurai your absolute favorite? Turns out, she loves his other stuff too. But for some reason, she just got more and more obsessed with Golden Sakurai. Rika also mentioned that in Volume 5 of Golden Samurai, whenever she looks at the main character, and how he always puts his friends first throughout the whole story, it just makes him seem incredibly strong, yet so gentle. Fast forward to school the next day. In the student council office, President Kumiko was looking dead serious. You still remember Golden Week, right? You promised you'd help me out. Our school has this ongoing exchange program with a sister school in Russia. Right after Golden Week, we're expecting to host one of their exchange students. President Kumiko wanted to give them an unforgettable gift when they first meet. So, she wanted my help to pick it out. I mean, of course I'd help her. How about the 29th, the first day of the holidays? President Kumiko lit up with joy. But, if you break this promise, I will never forgive you. With that, she sent me back to class. Now I'll have to ask Rika if we can push our plans back to the 30th. The moment I walked into the classroom, Sato told me he had some crazy news. Those guys who got kicked out of the kendo club for causing trouble. They suddenly made a huge scene today. And then, both of them submitted requests to transfer out. Both of them, at the exact same time. The whole thing is super sketchy. Do you think something else went down behind the scenes? I'm guessing they had their own unspoken reasons. Honestly, serves them right. At least they won't be bothering Tojo and Sakamoto anymore. Anyway, the bell just rang for class. Our teacher today was the brand new English teacher. It was her very first time teaching a class. And she was already trembling in fear because of an honors student. All because of some crazy rumors she'd heard. Rumor had it that this student was the heir to a Yakuza syndicate. And just a second ago, Rika had already fallen dead asleep from the boring lecture. The new English teacher's name was Mizuki Nanami, 24 years old, and coincidentally, today was the 24th. So, she called on student number 24 to read today's lesson out loud. But then she suddenly backpedaled. Could the student sitting behind number 24 please start reading from the textbook? I slowly stood up and started reading the passage. The whole class was absolutely stunned by my perfect fluency and native pronunciation. Ms. Mizuki then asked another question. How should we answer a question like this? But, I think I completely misunderstood her. Thought she wanted me to actually answer the textbook's question. Personally, I highly recommend visiting Osaka. The area has a lot to offer, and it's super popular with tourists. The teacher's face instantly froze in utter awkwardness. I was completely confused. Like, what kind of reaction was that? But she was too terrified to say a word. She just stuttered that my answer was absolutely perfect. As I sat back down, I kept thinking about the look on her face. She had looked completely terrified. Ms. Mizuki tried to go back to her lecture, but accidentally locked eyes with me. She immediately whipped her head around, panicking. This student is absolutely terrifying. She thought, just what you'd expect from a Yakuza heir. When I saw her reaction, I immediately knew what was going on. Ms. Mizuki must have heard some nasty rumors and thought I was a delinquent. There are these crazy, made-up rumors spreading around that I took down an entire biker gang all by myself. And that I'm the heir to some mafia boss. But, this is the very first time I've seen an adult this terrified of me. I should act perfectly normal. That way, I won't cause any more misunderstandings. I really need to clear things up with her. Meanwhile, Ms. Mizuki was typing frantically on her keyboard. When she saw the information on the screen, she froze in disbelief. Name, Kim Yoo-sung. Special notes, full scholarship recipient, last year's freshman representative. Student council secretary, extremely diligent, has maintained first place in the class since day one. Honestly, there is absolutely nothing left to teach him. He is incredibly hardworking. School has nothing left to teach him. Ms. Mizuki felt like none of this made any sense. How could a mafia heir have such a flawless academic record? The whole thing was just getting weirder and weirder to her. Could it be that he's been faking being a good student just to fool everyone? And right at that moment, a cold sweat suddenly ran down the teacher's spine. I was standing right there, smiling at her. Hello there, my name is Kim Yoo-sung. Ms. Mizuki nearly jumped out of her skin. Oh, Jin, you're here. Hurry, take a seat. I totally wasn't looking up your personal file just now. Digging into your background at all. But the moment those words left her mouth, she realized she was acting way too panicked. He definitely saw her snooping through his records. She looked like she thought the mafia was about to kidnap her. Actually, Ms. Mizuki, the reason I came to see you was to get some career counseling. Ms. Mizuki forced a stiff smile, trying desperately to play it cool. Right, please, have a seat. She then asked me what my plans were for the future. I haven't really figured out my future yet, but if I can't make up my mind, I'm thinking of just taking over the family business. Instantly, pure panic washed over her face. Family business? Does he mean taking over the criminal underworld? She stammered, Jin. If you don't mind me asking, what exactly do your parents do for a living? I told her my parents run a small diner out in the countryside. It was only then that she finally realized that I was, in fact, not a mafia boss in training. She even cheerfully added that she'd love to visit my family's restaurant someday. Hearing that, I figured the whole misunderstanding had finally been cleared up. She then asked about my strongest subjects. I told her I was best at math and science. Since you excel in those areas, she suggested, you should really consider a career in the STEM field. But I didn't want to do that. I told her, I think that picking a career simply because you happen to be good at a certain subject is just way too naive. I want to do something I actually love doing. Ms. Mizuki smiled and agreed with me. You're absolutely right. Being good at something and actually enjoying it are two completely different things. You know, I never actually planned on becoming a teacher. She chuckled, it's a little embarrassing to admit. But she decided to open up and tell me her story. Back then, her real dream was to become a voice actress. During her middle school years, she was completely obsessed with a character from a mecha manga. So, during her own career counseling session, she proudly declared she wanted to be a voice actress. But her teacher completely shot her down, saying it was just a hobby. And that hobbies should take a back seat to real life. They pushed her to find a stable job instead. At the time, she blindly believed that her teacher knew best. But the second she got to college, she regretted it immediately. She realized that her life belonged to her, and her alone. Letting someone else's advice dictate her future was a huge mistake. Because of that, she strongly urged me to think things through carefully before making any final choices. She wasn't telling me this as my teacher. She was giving me advice as someone who had already lived through it. I promised myself I'd seriously think about her advice. After all, I really didn't want to end up making the same mistake she did. I almost missed out on the career I actually want. So, I'm really grateful for her honest advice. After I left the room, another male teacher chimed in. Wait, isn't that the infamous Yoo-sung? I heard he's a total delinquent. They say his family runs a mob syndicate, and that he wiped out an entire biker gang all by himself. But Ms. Mizuki wasn't buying those rumors anymore. To her, Yoo-sung was actually an honors student with top-tier grades. And a genuinely caring guy. She told the other teachers to stop judging a book by its cover. She admitted she used to do the exact same thing. But if you really want to know who a student is, you just need to have one heart-to-heart conversation with them. Rumors are just that. Rumors. You can't trust them. Before long, Golden Week finally arrived. I showed up at the meeting spot, but it looked like I was a bit early. Pres Kumiko wasn't there yet. But the moment I turned my head, bam, there she was. Her face looked incredibly sour, and then she had the nerve to say I was late. But I wasn't even late. She just glared at me and asked if I knew what time it was. You are absolutely late, she huffed. Wait, the female lead of this manga is actually catching feelings for me? She literally made up an excuse just to go on a date with me. And she even secretly brought her servants along to coach her on romance. Honestly, seeing how beautifully she dressed up for today, I've gotta admit, my heart skipped a beat. But getting back to reality, she still seems super ticked off about my so-called lateness. Technically, you're on time, she scolded. But when you have a date with a girl, you are supposed to show up 30 minutes early. I stared at her. Then why didn't we just agree to meet at 11? Instead of 11:30? She just sighed. Forget it. She realized she was talking to a total brick wall and just gave up trying to explain it to me. Then she immediately started bossing me around. Go to that shop over there and buy me a matcha ice cream. Why'd I have to go get it? I grumbled, which instantly made her flare up again. Yeah, one swift punch to the arm later, I was obediently standing in line for her ice cream. She looked like she was really enjoying it, but honestly, we were just wandering around completely aimlessly. So, where are we getting the gift for the exchange student? I asked. That snapped her right out of her ice cream trance. She had completely forgotten. I couldn't help but think. Is she really this forgetful? She was way too focused on her ice cream. Right then, a voice buzzed through her hidden earpiece. Milady, there's an artisanal craft shop about 2 streets down. We highly recommend picking out a gift there. And please, don't forget to act natural. Show off your feminine charm as much as possible. Yep, the voices belonged to her loyal butlers. Minami and Shinjiro. Right now, they were running a full covert op. Feeding her intel just to make sure this date was a total success. A few minutes later, we walked into the craft shop. Ooh, what if we get them this gorgeous Buddha statue? She beamed. I sweat dropped. I don't think that's a good idea. Plus, look at the price tag. It's 7 million yen. Meanwhile, frantic voices exploded in her earpiece again. Milady, now is really not the time for this. I tilted my head, totally confused by how weird she was acting. She quickly scurried to the side and hissed at Minami and Shinjiro to keep their voices down. Before I could hear them, Minami sighed over the comms. You're on a date, remember? You aren't here for antique shopping. Turn around and look. Is Yoo-sung just standing there staring blankly at his phone right now? Rule number 1 of dating. Do not let your partner get bored. Do you get it? I get it. I get it, she whispered back. Then, Kumiko suddenly grabbed onto my shirt. Something urgent just came up. She blurted out. We need to leave right now. Once we got outside, I asked Kumiko if something was bothering her. You seem in such a rush. Did something happen? Is there anything I can do to help? Kumiko brushed it off, saying she was fine and just feeling a little dizzy. Let's hurry up and head to our next stop, she said. And of course, the next location was already booked in advance. It was that traditional clothing boutique. Miba had already given the owner a heads up. We just had to follow the route, and pretty soon, we arrived at the traditional clothing shop. The owner showed us a gorgeous outfit. I figured the exchange student would probably love this one. President, what do you think? The president told the owner to bring out the absolute best items in the store, saying money was no object. Well, since the young lady insists, I certainly won't hold back. So the owner brought out another piece. And the price tag on this one? 500,000 yuan. I couldn't believe it. So this is the kind of VIP treatment a wealthy heiress gets? But even after browsing for ages, we still couldn't find the perfect fit. In the end, it came down to choosing between this yukata and this kimono. To be honest, both of them actually looked pretty great. That's when the owner made a suggestion. Since it's so hard to decide, why don't you put them on and try them out? I completely agreed. The owner has a point. Why don't you go ahead and try them on, President Kumiko? The owner then led Kumiko into the fitting room. But what happened next gave Kumiko a massive jump scare. It turned out, the shop owner was actually Miba in disguise. Apparently, Miba was an absolute master of transformation. Changing her appearance was a total piece of cake for her. And the whole reason she wanted Kumiko to try on the clothes was to max out her charm level. Miba urged Kumiko to hurry up and get changed. I'm going to make you look absolutely drop-dead gorgeous. Meanwhile, I was waiting outside, listening to the chatter from the fitting room. Why is it getting so noisy in there? I wondered, while tapping away at my game, currently riding a massive 9-hit combo. A few moments later, the curtains parted, and Kumiko stepped out. Her outfit was absolutely breathtaking. The second I laid eyes on her, my face flushed bright red. President Kumiko was just so incredibly beautiful. By the time she walked right up to me, my face was burning like an absolute tomato. I shyly looked away. Seeing my reaction, Kumiko suddenly froze. Did the outfit look bad on me? But right as that insecure thought crossed her mind, I slowly broke the silence. President Kumiko, you look stunning. Your outfit today is absolutely gorgeous. And that dress, it suits you perfectly. Hearing my compliments, Kumiko's whole body started to tremble. Then, her classic tsundere side flared up. Well, obviously, when I actually put in the effort, I'm always pretty. Secretly thrilled, she excitedly spun around to go try on the next outfit, telling me to wait right there. Take your time, no rush at all, I replied. As soon as the fitting room door closed, Kumiko couldn't calm her racing heart. Her heart was pounding out of her chest. Thump, thump, thump. She was an absolute nervous wreck. That idiot, she thought. Why did he have to be so blunt about it? Now he's got me all flustered. As she kept thinking about it, even the tips of her ears turned bright red. She had no idea how she was going to look me in the eye again. Busted. I am totally busted. Who would have ever guessed that the usually scrawny vice president was actually a totally ripped, undercover muscle hunk? Just a few minutes ago, President Kumiko and I were walking down the street, drawing stares from absolutely everyone. I mean, Her Excellency the President is gorgeous enough to turn heads on her own, let alone with a massive, hulking guy like me walking right beside her. I glanced back at the two men in black trailing us. I had caught them in my peripheral vision multiple times now. They're probably just a couple taking selfies, right? Kumiko stammered, guiltily grabbing my arm and dragging me away. Once we were far enough away, the two of them finally let out a massive sigh of relief. We were almost busted. We definitely need to find a better hiding spot next time. The young miss specifically asked for this. Who would have thought this guy could actually win her over like that? By the way, is there a bathroom around here? We are on a top secret mission here. Just hold it in. Right after that, I brought Kumiko to my favorite ramen joint and handed her the menu so she could take a look. Then I headed to the restroom myself. But right at that very moment, Akaji suddenly felt an unbearable cramp in his stomach. The pain was so intense he literally doubled over. It felt like a stampede of wild horses was tearing through his guts. It had to be that ice cream from earlier. Just go, hurry. Hearing that, Akaji immediately hobbled his way to the bathroom as fast as he could. After an explosive battle on the toilet, Akaji leaned against the stall door, trembling as he let out a huge breath. He was finally saved, but when he looked up, Yoo-sung was standing right at the sink, staring dead at him through the mirror. Vice President, what are you doing here? Akaji stammered, pointing his shaky finger at me. He never expected to get busted just by taking a bathroom break. Hearing footsteps, Kumiko turned around. Oh, you're back, but the very first thing she saw were the two subordinates she had secretly assigned to tail us. Since we just so happened to bump into each other, I figured I'd bring them along to eat with us. You don't mind, do you? Wow, what a crazy coincidence. She forced a smile. They better not rat me out. Kumiko never imagined her perfect little date would suddenly turn into an awkward student council dinner. President, that idiot went to the bathroom and bumped right into him. Just play it cool, let's act like we just ran into each other. A few moments later, several piping hot bowls of ramen were finally served. I noticed Kumiko just staring at her bowl for the longest time without even touching her chopsticks. I couldn't help but wonder, has she seriously never eaten this before? Is this your first time having ramen? Well, I've mostly just seen it on TV a bunch of times. It was pretty obvious that normal, everyday street food wasn't exactly part of her rich girl diet. Kumiko carefully took a small sip of the broth, taking her time to actually savor the flavor. Her eyes lit up. It was surprisingly delicious. Seeing her enjoy it took a huge weight off my shoulders. I let out a long sigh of relief and couldn't help but smile. After we finished eating, our whole group headed over to the arcade. The mechanical claw dropped the stuffed bunny yet again. Kumiko let out a frustrated shriek. She was just a hair away from grabbing that cute little plushie. Meanwhile, Vice President Akaji and I were aggressively mashing buttons and violently shaking the joysticks at the fighting game cabinet. as Akaji KO'd me for the second time. He started laughing maniacally. I guess the rumors about Koreans being gaming gods are completely fake. That instantly pissed me off. Okay, he officially crossed the line with that one. I was absolutely going to wipe the floor with him. But Akaji, on the other hand, was having the time of his life. Who told the young miss to like a guy like him anyway? I definitely need to teach him a lesson. I quickly cracked my knuckles, stretched my arms, and dove right back into our gaming war. This time, the second the round started, my male character delivered a brutal flying kick that knocked Akaji's female character straight to the ground. What followed was a completely ruthless, infinite combo that didn't give him a single second to fight back. A flawless KO. Oh, you bet it was my turn to trash talk now. You're gonna have to try a little harder than that. Mr. Vice President. Furious, Akaji instantly snapped back. Oh, so that's how it is. Jin Yoo-sung, I dare you to face me in that. I followed his pointing finger. He was pointing right at the boxing punching bag machine. Literally the one game I was best at. I seriously wonder if he's lost his mind. There's literally 0 point in competing. But Akaji completely ignored me, and slowly unbuttoned his shirt, revealing a surprisingly shredded physique. He was completely built with lean, toned muscles. I never expected that usually frail-looking nerd to be hiding a body like that. Yoo-sung, don't tell me you're getting scared, because I'd be incredibly disappointed if you were. That one sentence instantly sparked my competitive spirit. Kaji smoothly tossed his glasses behind him and scoffed, and here I thought you were just some coward who'd run away. Another female lead of this comic world had fallen for me. Kumiko felt like this was the absolutely happiest day of her entire life. Just a moment ago, seeing that I accepted the challenge, Akaji gave a martial arts salute. He stretched his muscles to warm up, and then shifted his body into the perfect stance to generate maximum power, smashing a vicious punch right into the arcade punching machine. The numbers on the screen went absolutely crazy, finally stopping at 960. That was a brand new record for the machine. Alright, you're up next. Don't tell me you're chickening out. I scratched my head, still feeling pretty hesitant about all this. I tried to get Kumiko to stop him, but she was actually curious to see my full strength, too. If the machine breaks, we'll pay for it. Just give it everything you got. Hearing that, my heart was silently screaming in agony. I never wanted to show off in the first place. How the hell did things end up like this? Truth is, breaking the machine wasn't even the real issue here. The real problem was that my body had the overpowered buff of a gag manga muscle character. With a flimsy punching machine like this, I knew I could literally blast it to pieces with a single hit. Whatever. Overthinking it won't help. I guess I'll just have to try a different approach. With a completely deadpan expression, I took my stance, and drove a solid punch right into the bottom base of the machine. Kaji was completely stunned by what happened next. With just one punch, I had severely bent the solid metal frame of the machine. Unsurprisingly, the score displayed a flat 0. The numbers didn't even twitch. The two behind me gave me disappointed looks, clearly thinking I hadn't taken it seriously at all. But on the inside, I was super proud of my masterpiece. My power control was absolutely perfect. It wasn't fully broken, so they could probably still use it. Wait. A sudden clattering sound caught my attention. I turned my head, only to see that the thick metal frame had completely snapped off. I could only stare at the wreckage in helpless disbelief. I guess I still didn't control my strength well enough after all. At this point, Akaji was dripping in cold sweat, but he still tried to act tough. Let's just call it a draw for today. He pointed a trembling finger at me. Sure, next time, I'll definitely beat you. Right after that little incident, we headed over to a photo booth studio. So rare for all of us to hang out together. Why don't we take some photos to remember the day? While Kumiko was still thinking about it, Emibo quickly chimed in from behind. That's a great idea. We ended up taking a ton of group pictures. Those two were goofing off and playing around, while Kumiko and I looked incredibly sweet together. Kumiko carefully looked over the printed photos, looking absolutely delighted. Pointing at the pictures, Emibo teased her. Oh my, miss, just look at how perfectly you and Yoo-sung match. Hearing that made Kumiko blush furiously on the spot. It honestly was a lot of fun, looking at how adorably flustered Kumiko was. How could I not realize that she had carefully planned this entire date? For our final stop of the day, we hit up a karaoke room. But man, Akaji's incredibly soulful singing literally made us feel like our souls were leaving our bodies. And it was finally Kumiko's turn. Her gorgeous, angelic voice totally cleansed our traumatized ears. The second she finished, I immediately gave her 2 massive thumbs up. Right after that, the two of us sang a sweet romantic duet together. At that moment, we both felt the romantic tension in the air. 1995. As evening fell, I walked Kumiko to her car and waved goodbye, while Akaji and Minami looked like they were ready to drop dead from exhaustion. The two of them quickly apologized, saying they just had way too much fun. So much so that they missed their chance to leave. But Kumiko didn't mind at all. She'd had an absolutely wonderful time today. It was the very first time in her life that she'd eaten ice cream with a boy. gone shopping together, and laughed together. And seeing a boy blush because of me. Ever since we grew up, you guys started keeping your distance from me. We used to be so happy when we were little. But, thank you both for always staying by my side. Today is definitely going to be a precious memory. Hearing their young lady's words, the two of them instantly burst into a flood of tears. So, you'll help me out on my future dates too, right? They nodded vigorously. Meanwhile, at that exact moment, Rika pushed open the door to her house once again. A man in a red shirt glanced back with a helpless sigh. I know you have a friend coming over tomorrow. You've already told me over a dozen times. I'm looking forward to meeting this friend of yours too. This man was none other than Rika's father. It was the first time in the girl's life that she'd invited a boy over to her house. Who could have guessed her own mother would ruthlessly expose all her embarrassing childhood secrets? She was incredibly anxious, terrified that the boy would be put off by it. Little did she know, the boy himself used to be a massive nerd for anime characters back in the day. Just a few moments ago, I arrived at Rika's house, right on time. Her dad was already waiting at the door to greet me. Instantly, a cold sweat broke out across my back. I mean, who wouldn't panic when greeted by their absolute idol? Hello, Mr. Kishimoto, you must be Yoo-sung, right? You really do look like a manga protagonist. I didn't dare drop my guard for even a second in front of Mr. Kishimoto. After all, this was the legendary god of manga himself, Musashi Kishimoto. Why don't you come inside first? When my wife heard you were coming, she was up before dawn getting things ready. When I saw Rika's mother, I realized she was just as stunningly beautiful as Rika. And her cooking was incredible too. She had prepared an entire feast that covered the whole table. I sat in my chair, fidgeting nervously, and quickly thanked her parents for their wonderful hospitality. Yoo-sung, our Rika absolutely never stops talking about you. So I've been dying to meet you for ages now. After all, this is the very first time my daughter has ever been this close to a boy. I instantly felt a dangerous shift in the atmosphere. I frantically tried to explain. Our Rika and I are just normal friends. Really, we only know each other because she got lost on the first day of school, and I just helped her out a bit, that's all. Good. I was worried you might have some funny ideas about her. Since you're her first male friend, after all. Seriously, are all fathers this paranoid when it comes to their daughters? And again, if I ever have a daughter as incredibly cute as her in the future, I'd probably want to fend off every guy on the planet too. Dad, didn't I tell you to stop saying weird things? Our eyes met for a split second, and the air filled with sudden, intense awkwardness. Seeing the two of us like this, her father, having been young and in love once himself, knew exactly what was going on. Looks like our little girl has really grown up. Our baby bird is finally leaving the nest. I still kept thinking of Rika as a little kid. I remember when she was younger, she'd always say that her daddy was the best man in the whole wide world. That she'd stay by my side forever even when she grew up. But now, our little girl is all grown up. Rika's mother looked at her melodramatic husband with a warm, amused smile. So, Yoo-sung, I heard you're a big fan of mine? Would you like to take a look around my studio after we eat? Really? My eyes practically shot sparks, they lit up so fast. If it wouldn't be an inconvenience. To my surprise, not only did I get to tour the studio after dinner, but I actually got an autograph, too. Right after, Rika dragged me up to her room. One look and I was like, wow, this is literally a manga library. Rika looked so proud of herself. Wait here for a sec. I'll go grab some tea and snacks. And don't go touching anything, or I'm gonna be so mad. I nodded frantically. Honestly, this is my very first time being in a girl's room. It felt pretty awkward, just as I was thinking about playing a game. While waiting for Rika, her mom suddenly walked in. Yoo-sung, you can just call me Maria from now on. Even though she said that, calling my friend's mom by her first name just feels completely wrong. Then, she whipped out a photo album from behind her back. This right here is Rika's childhood album. She started showing them off one by one. Here she is at 1 year old. And this is her at 2. But suddenly, my eyes landed on a photo from when Rika and I hung out last time. Luckily, her mom didn't make a big deal out of it. Yoo-sung, look, this is my daughter's ultimate embarrassing past. In the photo, Rika was fully decked out in goth clothes. Honestly, I thought she looked pretty badass. Just then, Rika burst into the room, shaking with embarrassment. Please tell me you didn't see those photos. Her mom just gave a sweet, knowing nod. Rika grabbed me in a panic. I am never dressing up like that again. That was just a huge mistake from my edgy chunibyo phase. Seeing her daughter freaking out, Maria smiled. You kids have fun. I'll leave you to it. Mom, don't you dare come back in. I really didn't expect Rika to be so self-conscious about her cosplay pictures. You're gonna keep this a secret, right? I nodded quickly to calm her down. At this point, tears were literally welling up in her eyes. Honestly, everyone goes through a cringy phase. I definitely had mine too. To make her feel better, I pulled out my phone and started scrolling for my old photos. Holy crap, how were you so skinny back then? And how did you get so buff now? I just felt like I was way too weak. and not manly enough, so I worked out like crazy right as puberty hit. So, if I had transferred here 2 years ago, I would have met this version of you? What? Do you not like me right now? I didn't expect my random joke to make Rika blurt out, I really like the way you are right now. Realizing what she just said, Rika slapped both hands over her mouth. As our eyes met, the tension between us suddenly got incredibly romantic. Here she comes, here she comes. Another heroine of the manga world makes her grand entrance. But surprisingly, my very first encounter with her was actually watching her run for her life. Just a second ago, Rika and I could literally hear each other's heartbeats. It was that total heart-skipping feeling. But then Rika blurted out, I see you as a really good friend. And that snapped me back to reality. Yeah, good friends. But the vibe had already completely died and become painfully awkward. Finally, I broke the silence. Hey, I really need to thank you. I wouldn't have gotten Kishimoto-sensei's autograph without you. You really don't need to say that to me. You're always welcome at our place. I'll definitely take you up on that. I'll definitely be back. We both couldn't help but smile again. As the sky started to darken, I finally said my goodbyes to Rika. It was time for me to head home. Oh, by the way, where did you say you and your family were going for your trip? Hearing that, Rika immediately broke into a bright smile. Hawaii. Well then, have a fantastic trip. Don't forget your sunscreen, and don't go crying just because you miss me too much. Call me if you need anything. If I do call you, how exactly are you planning to get all the way to Hawaii? An image instantly popped into my head, of me turning into an Olympic swimmer and swimming all the way there. I'd just buy a plane ticket, obviously. Rika looked at me, her face beaming with joy. I took a couple of steps, then turned back around. Rika, see you at school. With that, I headed straight to the station to catch my train. Watching me walk away, Rika suddenly felt a wave of sadness wash over her. Memories of how we first met started flooding back. How we used to sit together on the bench, sharing our lunchboxes. Reading books side by side. Spending the whole day working tirelessly for Karen Tojo. How I'd wrap my arms around her to protect her on crowded trains. And the way her heart raced the very first time we held hands. She took a deep breath, quietly cheering herself on. You can do this, Rika. She couldn't lie to her own heart anymore. Next time, she'd definitely find the courage. It was now the 5th day of Golden Week. I had just finished buying all the manga I wanted at the bookstore. I was just debating whether to grab a bite to eat before heading out, when suddenly, a rush of frantic footsteps echoed from behind me. Out of the way. Move, move, move. I turned around in confusion, only to see a stunning girl hurtling right toward me. She tried to vault completely over my head, but a split second later, bam, her knee smashed straight into my face. Though, I'm pretty sure I just got a glimpse of something I definitely shouldn't have seen. Purely out of reflex, I reached out and caught her in my arms, desperately trying to think about literally anything else to calm myself down. Snapping back to reality, the girl whipped her head around. In the distance, a massive crowd of shady figures was sprinting straight toward us. Before I could even process what was happening, she grabbed my hand and dragged me into a dead sprint. She completely ignored everything I was saying. I looked at the direction she was dragging me in. Where are you going? I yelled. That's a dead end. Throwing caution to the wind, I took the lead, yanking her hand and darting down a completely different alley. We ducked straight into the ramen shop I had been thinking about earlier. Hiding right beneath the window, we watched the mob go running right past us. Once they were completely out of sight, the girl finally let out a massive sigh of relief. Thanks for the save, she panted. I just let out a helpless groan. Why did you have to drag me into this mess? Care to explain why they're after you? Let's just sit down first, she said. I'm Sasha, by the way. Seeing as I had no other choice, I sat down. Kim Yoo-sung. But Sasha kept rambling on about totally irrelevant things, so I quickly cut her off. Stop trying to change the subject. Well, it's a bit complicated. It's really hard to explain. The second I heard that, I stood right up to leave. Alright then, good luck running for your life. Wait. She panicked. Doesn't a guy usually just help out without asking questions when a pretty girl is in trouble? Shouldn't he just swoop in and save the day? I scoffed. No, that is absolutely not common sense. Seeing that I was still dead set on leaving, Sasha frantically blurted out. I'll hire you. I'll pay you. And with that, she whipped out several thick stacks of cash from her bag. I instantly spun back around, grabbed her hand, and gave it a firm shake. A pleasure doing business with you. With all this cash, I'll be able to buy a ton of manga. Meanwhile, Sasha seemed to have accepted her fate. She pulled off her hat, letting her long, blue hair tumble down. My dad is a pretty big deal in Russia, she said. So they're probably trying to kidnap me. That blue hair immediately made me think of one of the main heroines from that manga. The super popular character from Russia. Oh, wait, it updated. It finally updated. The latest chapter of Unknown finally dropped, just a second ago. I'd been hired to protect Sasha until 7 p.m. She told me she'd figure out the rest on her own after that. She even asked if there was anywhere fun to hang out around here. I couldn't believe she wanted to go sightseeing while running for her life. She explained that they wouldn't dare try anything stupid in a crowded place. She's actually a super popular character from the original story, one of the main heroines. A Russian girl, full name, Alexandra Ivanovna Romanova, usually just called Sasha. Logically speaking, her first appearance was supposed to be when she bumped into the main character, Ryuji. But somehow, she ended up running into me first. Maybe this is all happening before her main storyline even kicks off. I had no idea why the heroine was being chased, or if I should even be getting involved. At first, I was actually pretty offended that she tried to buy me off. I mean, what an insult. But, she was just offering way too much money. I just couldn't say no. Well, I've already taken the job anyway. I just need to hold out for 6 hours until 7 p.m. Sasha hadn't taken her eyes off me. The moment she saw me, she knew I was strong. She totally trusted her own instincts. She figured I'd have no problem keeping her safe for 6 hours. Hurry, let's go. If we stay in one place for too long, we'll be spotted. But right at that moment, a voice called out. Freeze. I turned around, and there they were. The same guys in black suits from yesterday. I couldn't figure out how they'd tracked us down so fast. Sasha whispered an explanation. They're elite ex-KGB agents. While I was still trying to figure out what the heck the KGB was. One of the suits suddenly appeared right in front of me, blocking my path. Without saying a single word, he threw a straight punch right at my face. I smoothly dodged to the side. The momentum of his own punch sent him stumbling toward the ground. But I wasn't about to give him the chance to recover. I snapped back with a hook right to his jaw. Then, I hoisted him high into the air, and slammed him hard right in front of his buddies. Sasha just stared at me in absolute shock. I mean, the guys chasing her were supposed to be elite ex-agents. Yet, he couldn't put up any fight against me at all. But I didn't give her time to sit there and marvel. I shoved her straight into a phone booth and locked it. Otherwise, she'd just get in my way. Because after just that quick, two-move exchange, I knew these guys were no joke. They were on a completely different level from the street thugs I usually dealt with. But it was their bad luck they ran into me. In a romantic comedy like this, the guy with the biggest muscles is usually the winner. In just a few quick moves, I neatly took down two of them. I looked at the rest of the crew, thinking the rest of this fight would be a breeze. Fall back, everyone. The second I heard that command, I couldn't help but look toward whoever shouted it. But right at that moment, a massive guy slammed a brutal shoulder tackle right into my chest. For the first time ever, I felt an agonizing pain in my ribs. Nobody had ever hit me that hard before. Seeing the massive guy step up, the rest of the suits immediately stood at attention. Captain Boris. I had no idea who this giant was, but he just cheap-shotted me without a second thought. That hit hurt so bad it dropped me straight to my knees. But looking up, I saw this guy was completely jacked, too. Noi Phi Doi Do Voi Han, Kong Biat Kai Buff Ko Bap Chuan Nam Chin Nan Tin. Kua Toi Ko Kon Tak Dung Hei Kong Nua. Trong Luke Du, Sasha Dang O Trong Bot Din Thoi, Din Quang. Dap Kua Kin Va Gao Len Kai Gi Du. Trong Tham Tam, Ko Nong Da Din Nin La Fen Na Tiu Doi Roi. Boi Vi Ko I Gi Rang, Cho Du Toi Ko Man Den Do Di Nua. Ti Kung Chong Ko Kua Nao Dan Bai Duok Doi Trong Boris. Luke Nay, Toi Kung Ki Tho Dai. Biat Ngay La Ko Kiam Tien Na Nhai Kong Troi Da Dang Ve Do Ma. Kung Chong Biat Phia Sao Condam Tri Ben Nao Kong Nua. Tot Nyat La Dan Nha Diet Gon Thoi. Ngay Lap Tuk, Toi Dam Man Chan, Lao Vut Ve Phia Truok. Hai Ban Te Talon Kua Toi Nam Thang Vao Do Boris Ma Jiang Zong. Tak Du Ne Kian Han Ko Chet Kong Kip Trote. Nung Toi Chin Lim Yuan Yan Luke Han Lola. Shou Kai Do Kua Han Hun Dat Mi Mo Ku That Kiu. Prom Long Boris Luke Ne Kin Hai Tak Du. Noi Kong Phi Han Fan Zay Kip Thoi. Chup Le Te Toi Da Triet Tiu Bot Luke D. Ti Kai Voi Mo Don Ne Thoi Kung Du Da Han Mat Luan Ka Nong Chien Do Roy. Toi Kung Chong The Go Duok. Gane Lai Ko Tak Du Fan Zay Kin Hun Denda. Han Ta Lai Kon So Hu Suk Man Trao Bo. Dam Dung Te Kong Quang Ep Go Te Toi Ra Koi Do Han. Han Nam Chat Le Te Toi. Jiat Man Len Phia Truok Lam Toi Mat Da Lao Theo. Ngay Sao Du. Mo Ku Dam New Buatanen Thang Val Ma Toi. Chet Tiet. Ku Dam Ne Lam Toi Do Di Ang Noi. Kin Niem Thuk Chien Va Kinang Kua Han. Cho Den Tan Luke Ne. Chin La Ke Loi Hai Nyat Ma Toi Tung Doi Do. Han Nua. Nin Kai Tu The Han Koa Chat Toi The Ne. Dung Noi Voi Toi La Han Din Dung Don Koa Kode Ne. Oh, Va Lin Cam Kua Toi Da Dung. Toi Gong Het Suk Niak Bong Ga Len. Ve Ma Van Kong The Lam Han Buong Long Te Ra. Toi Lo Mon Yan Ra. Hop Zong Kua Min Da Bai Han Koa Chet Mat Roy. Ju Ne Ngay Lap Tuk Kich Fat Mao Din Trong Toi. Don Dan Ban Ne Toi Do That Day. Nung Shua Du Da Lam Toi Bai Thuong Nong. Koma Lan Ne. Noi Muon Tom Gon Ga Dan Ong Ne. Ti Chak Chan Phi Du Mao Roy. Toi Nien Rang Gong Can Luke. Chap nyan trat ka hop de quat na han sap mat zong dat mo ku troi jiang. Don na kian Boris lap tuk gam len do don. Sasha muan nan ken wa choyan lai. Nung am ton lam sao lot duok ra koi bot din tho I chu. Dam ao den con lai kung tron mat dung nin kin hai. Boi vi trong tiam thuk kua bon chung. Doi trong chua bao gio the tham den muk ne. Sao ku quat I, Boris hone tone. Dan mat ka nung chien do. Kon keep, kai ga ne kon yan that day. Tun thuong hop zong kiu ne say lam an hong den ko bap mat. Kiu ne ko ki mo thoi jian min koi toi fong jim luan roi. Sao mo hoi din quang dap fa kua Sasha. Kua bot din tho I kuoi kung mo duok. Ho I thuk su kong dam tinla toi lai ko the dan by duok Boris. Phi den quan kak ne, ko I mwa lo mo nyan ra duok thuk luke dang so kua toi. Kung luke du, tai mo noi by mat now du. Mo ga dan ong by en vua niok me len. Do de ben kia trian den jiang noi run lei bei. Thua. Thua gai sa hoang. Doi trong Boris. By dan by roy a. Boris a. Choyan ki now the duok. O kai dat nyat ban ne. Dao do ra ke dan by duok han chu. Han. Han la mo ga dan ong chow a sao quang mo tram chin moi zang timet. Voi mai tuk den bom zone. Me dung noi voi dao. Ga dula yasha de ne. Ko chap moi roy an emoy. Chap moi nyat kua bo trian bayan kuoi kung len song roy. Vua moi de thoi, trending dark web da lan trian de re video toi rate don dep. Moi noi du din nin toi chin la yasha. Bon ho ram ra ban tan vei an ta. Ko noi ke lai rang, nam shua, ke duok zoom tum la lin dan thu man yak the joy gom ne. Da dat nien bak hoi kong do vet. Ten tui kua an ta bat do vang doi ki ivan tuyen bom yuan tim mo doi tu zoom tam. Lavao nam mo nan chin tram chin moi chin, gi do kian then duok to chuk. Hon nen wa sao tu ban fuang den q chien. Va kung chin vao luke du, ke ma sao ne duok goi la kai yasha. Fuma kotaro, da shuat hin ruk sang yu mo vi sao choi, kan ke wa doi tu va chien thang vao vong chung ket. Troton mo huyen tho I vo chien quang hao. Yuki ka chom gap laptop lai. Chim Vao Tram 2. No way, is it actually true? Did the legendary Fuma Kotaro really show up? I stepped outside, staring off into the distance, completely lost in thought. Meanwhile, Sasha dragged me to a maid cafe. Seeing her looking so wide-eyed and curious, I was honestly just at a loss for words. Is this seriously your must-visit spot? I asked, totally baffled. Of course, you can't come to Japan without going to a maid cafe. We were seated by one of the waitresses, and once she walked away, I finally let out a long sigh. Being called master over and over again was just way too cringy. I just didn't get it. How could she be so chill when she's literally being hunted down? And there wasn't a single peep about it online. Probably because of the EMP. When agents from the EE Corporation go on a mission, they always set off an EMP first to wipe out all the electronics. And since they're a Russian weapons manufacturer. Hello, there, I'm the star catgirl maid of this cafe. As the voice rang out, I turned my head. It felt like my entire worldview just took a massive hit. I thought I was pretty used to anime stuff by now. But this was just way over the top. Just as I was about to dig into my food, the maid next to us chimed in. Please wait a moment, master. Meow. We have to do our little ritual before we eat. Now say it with me. Meow. After she finished her little chant, she shot us a finger heart. You too. Make sure you have fun. Honestly, my brain was just screaming what the hell right about then. Noticing I was the only one not making a heart, they both immediately laid into me for not joining in. My face was burning red at this point. It was just so damn embarrassing. Left with no other choice, I finally made the heart shape. Seeing that I had finally done the pre-meal ritual, the maid bowed and stepped back. And I could finally, thankfully, eat my lunch. But the second we finished eating, the catgirl maid bounced right back over. I got special permission from the manager. We can all play a card game together. Sasha was totally down for it. But the second I saw the headband in her hand, I got a really bad feeling about this. The loser has to take a punishment. Meow. Seriously? You're gonna make a grown man like me wear something so painfully pink? Is this really a good idea? Can't we do a different punishment? Sasha just shot back. Well, then just don't lose. Crap. My brain went into overdrive. If I had to wear that pink monstrosity, I'd never live it down. But things didn't exactly go my way. I didn't get to take the damn thing off. Until we finally left the cafe. It's almost 5 o'clock. Actually, there's something I need to confess. Hearing that, I stopped dead in my tracks. I had no idea what she was about to say. Those men in black. They're actually just bodyguards my dad hired. I just wanted to sneak out and look around for a bit. I didn't think it would blow up into this whole huge thing. Inside, I was absolutely screaming. What the hell kind of day is this? But thank you, really. I'll get in touch with them now. And head back to the hotel. Hanging out with you today was the absolute best. Ha ha ha, I finally found you, V. The voice boomed from right above us. I stared up in absolute shock at the crazy scene unfolding. The voice was coming straight from a chopper hovering overhead, and while it was still a good 20 feet in the air, some old guy just leapt right out of it. Sasha, you really caused quite the scene. Otherwise, it would have been a real pain trying to track you down. I could really feel his immense power right then. I mean, an ordinary person definitely couldn't just jump out of a helicopter from 20 feet in the air. Sasha was totally shocked to see him, too. How did you even find me here? That's private. Besides, I didn't come all this way for you, my sweet daughter. Oh man, it's out. It's finally out. The newest manga chapter is finally here. Just a moment ago, seeing her dad actually taking a helicopter to track her down, Sasha quickly apologized. I couldn't believe it either. This crazy old guy who just jumped out of a chopper was actually her father. Wait, so why are a Russian father and daughter speaking Japanese? I happened to hear that Yasha showed up in Tokyo, the bodyguard you hired. I was so confused. Me? I asked, tentatively pointing at myself. Kid, you're the guy who vanished 10 years ago, aren't you? The legendary mercenary, Yasha. Fuma Kotaro. No way was I claiming that. I immediately waved my hands. No, that's not me. Please don't just make stuff up. But Sasha's dad completely ignored me. He just started shouting about settling a score from some duel 18 years ago, while also muttering about how I looked way too young. I sighed, totally helpless. My name is Kim Yoo-sung. Then do you know Fuma Kotaro? He demanded. I told him this was literally the first time I'd ever heard that name. For a second, the three of us just stood there in awkward silence. Hey Sasha, since your dad is here, I think I'll just head out. Seeing her dad stay quiet, I couldn't help but think to myself. I guess this Fuma Kotaro guy must look a lot like me. But right at that moment, a deep voice rumbled from behind me. Then, do you know Boris? How exactly did you defeat him? It hit me instantly. He was talking about that huge guy I beaten up earlier. Oh, please tell him I'm sorry. I honestly thought he was some kind of thug. Sigh, kinda went all out. The moment those words left my mouth, Sasha's dad vanished and reappeared right in front of my face. He threw a massive punch straight at me. In that split second, I sensed the terrifying power behind his fist and instinctively yanked my backpack up to shield myself. Boom, my backpack was literally blown completely through. A massive hole, right in the middle. Shreds of paper drifted out from the gaping hole. I lost it. I was furious. What the hell are you doing? I just bought that manga today. But the crazy old guy didn't care at all. He just grinned and yelled, interesting. He couldn't believe I'd actually managed to block his strike. Meanwhile, I was crying on the inside. My precious manga, I am absolutely not letting you get away with this. But before I could even retaliate, the old guy dashed right back into my face. I barely got my arms up in time to block. Good lord, his punch was more than twice as heavy as Boris's. Seeing that I wasn't going down, the old man stepped back and started winding up for a massive attack. He launched a devastating punch right at my face. The insane sheer force of it dragged me back several steps. Realizing I was still on my feet, the old guy ripped his coat off and tossed it aside. I yelled at the top of my lungs. What is your problem? I'm only holding back because you're Sasha's dad. But the old man didn't let up for a second. Because you are a once-in-a-lifetime genius. An ordinary kid with zero training actually took down Boris, the captain of my royal guard. It's completely impossible. I had to see it with my own eyes. Show me everything you got. Prove to me you're a prodigy. To be fair, I hadn't taken any real damage yet. But taking punches like that still hurt like hell. So, boy, come work for me. I can make your talent truly bloom. At that moment, it finally hit me. This wasn't some ordinary rom-com world at all. That guy's offer was something you'd only ever hear in a shonen battle manga. In the beginning, the entire plot pointed to this definitely being a romantic comedy. But ever since I crossed over into this world, I've been grinding my muscles every single day and constantly fighting people. At first, I just thought I was the muscular comic relief guy, especially after gaining this ridiculous, superhuman strength. But the only logical conclusion is, this manga has completely shifted gears. It went from a rom-com straight to a battle manga. Because before I got reincarnated here, even though I hadn't read this specific series, I knew it had been serializing for a while. Don't tell me the author finally caved to the pressure of the rankings and their editor and completely pivoted into a battle series? If that's the case, from now on, I'm going to be surrounded by these dangerous freaks, and my life will be in constant jeopardy. Join us, kid, whatever it is you desire. Houses, cars, we will provide it all. I blocked the old man's strike once again, and a smirk crept onto my face. Because I had already figured out a plan. I flat out rejected his offer. Because if this really turned into a battle manga, doesn't matter how overpowered the villains get, they are destined to lose to the protagonist eventually. So, as long as I stick close to the main character, Ryuji, I'm completely safe. Hearing my response, the old man swung his fist at me again. I instantly sensed the terrifying sheer power behind that punch. Before I could even react, it slammed right into my gut. Blood instantly spurted from my mouth. I realized right then and there, he was actually trying to kill me. I wanted to go easy on him since he's Sasha's dad, but my eyes darted frantically, and suddenly, I spotted an opening. I smashed my fist right into the old man's cheek. The impact left him standing there, completely stunned and speechless. That was the very first time he had ever been punched in the face. A faint red mark was still lingering on his skin, but before I could even process it, another heavy smack cracked across my face. He actually grabbed me by the face and hoisted me straight up into the air. Listen here, kid, let me teach you a little lesson. When your fist makes contact, no matter who your opponent is, you better strike with the absolute resolve to kill them.